Christine Lisi. Commanders coach Ron Rivera hoping to clarify some of yesterday's comments regarding players' concerns about the intensity of new offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy. Said today he loves the overall message Bieniemy's been sending to players. The remarks contrasting the style of Bieniemy and defensive coordinator Jack Del Rio also addressed by Rivera.
I was just trying to convey that we all have our own way of doing things, and neither one's better than the other. I mean, I had Buddy Ryan writing me for 2 years. I had Mike Ditka writing me for 9, and it's the way they did things. Their approach is completely different from mine. I'm not saying one's better than the other. I'm just saying that we're all different. We all have our ways.
Former Raiders receiver Henry Ruggs III sentenced to 3 to 10 years in prison for a November 2021 drunken driving crash that killed a Las Vegas woman and her dog. He could be eligible for parole in 3 years. Lionel Messi's MLS debut postponed among Inter Miami's League's Cup run, now looking like it'll take place August 26 against New York. NBA, the Knicks finalizing a 4-year, $81 million extension with guard Josh Hart, reports ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. They're close, convenient, and have the parts you need fast, along with excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
Let's ride.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, man.
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yusu. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Oh, by the way, it's a hump day.
It's hump day.
Let's hump, everybody.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Tigers had the day off.
Hump day.
Saints are back on the practice field.
It's hump day.
Headed to NOLA in about 15 minutes.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
LSU opens up against Florida State.
Hump day.
Headed to Tallahassee in 1 hour.
It's hump day.
We got Brian Kelly talking about running backs.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
We got Pluckers trivia.
Hump day.
We got Greg Sankey talking SEC realignment.
It's hump day.
We got an awesome college baseball player leaving Stanford for Texas A&M.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Man, do we got stuff.
Hump day.
Otterlocks.
It's hump day.
Overrated, underrated.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Tigers in the pros.
Hump day.
Taylor Calandro.
It's hump day.
My goodness, we got a lot. Locked, loaded, ready to roll. Glad you're with us here on this Hump Day edition of AFR. Hope y'all feeling good. Let us begin every day as we do right here.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
All right, we're going to head down to New Orleans in 10 minutes. Maddy Hudak will be here for our Saints camp report. Saints are back on the practice field today. LSU had the day off, but it was a notable day as the Tigers did take a breather, and they'll be back on the field tomorrow. Because as the college football world is continue spinning around realignment here, certainly hot and heavy in the last 10 days or so, I continue to get asked about the SEC. As a matter of fact, today spoke at a sort of an influencers lunch gathering, and I was asked that question about, was there a possibility of the SEC expanding? Well, nobody better to answer that question than the commissioner of the Southeastern Conference. And Greg Sankey was a guest on the Feinbaum Show, and he was asked that question about the SEC and is it whether or not it's content at 16 members as they will be starting next year.
We're in an enormously healthy place, so we're not in the middle of the current movement efforts. We're going to be constantly attentive. Our focus is on our growth to 16. When you look at the 16 universities that will soon all be affiliated officially with the Southeastern Conference, when we add Oklahoma and Texas, I think that's the envy of everyone in college football, from a strength, from a success, from a support standpoint.
I want to reiterate one more time. It probably won't be the last time. Just the most recent time that I discussed this. College football realignment only makes sense when you're at a position of strength like the SEC, not when you're trying to survive like the Big 12 was trying to survive after Texas and Oklahoma got poached. They needed to survive, so they went and added 4 members that took football very seriously, although not playing at the highest level, and then ultimately positioned themselves in a greater stance because of their grant rights to be able to attract 4 new members from the Pac-12. You understand that. If you're the SEC or the Big Ten, the only reason you expand is if the teams you're adding add enough value that it grows your total revenue sufficiently to where everybody gets a bigger share. You don't want to dilute your shares. You understand. We've talked about this plenty, but again, to oversimplify it, all the money generated by the conference from TV, bowl revenue, SEC baseball tournament, SEC basketball tournament, SEC softball tournament, March Madness, shares for every game played, all of it. All the revenue goes into one pot. They divide it up evenly 15 ways. The 14-member institutions and the league, they all get 15 shares evenly. Now you're adding Texas and Oklahoma. Adding them has to grow the pot big enough to where everybody's share gets bigger. Otherwise, you're just diluting your shares. So it doesn't make sense just to add for the sake of adding. So if Greg Sankey doesn't feel like there's a realistic option to add a team outside of the 2 you're adding this year with Texas and Oklahoma that's going to grow your revenue significantly enough, then you don't add. You don't add just to get to 18 because the Big Ten is at 18. The Big Ten went to 18 because adding Oregon and Washington after adding the Los Angeles market, they feel is going to grow their revenue enough. The SEC isn't likely to expand and shouldn't expand at this point. The thing that is likely to change, however, is the college football playoff. And Greg Sankey, number 3, please, said in no uncertain terms that that's going to be looked at.
The expansion was about making sure we brought in Western football. Well, now what's happened is Western football has come into other conferences. The net of that is circumstances have changed, and I think it's wise for us to take a step back and reconsider what the format might look like given these changed circumstances. We've not met on that. I've not had any meaningful conversations, but I think we have to acknowledge that it is on everyone's mind pending the outcome of some of these additional membership movement pieces.
Let me oversimplify that because Greg is generally monotone and speaks intelligently and over people's heads a lot of times. When they expanded to 12, the top 6 conference champs get an auto bid, and then the next 6 highest ranked teams get an auto bid. Do the math. Power 5 champs, 1 group of 5 champ. Your top 6 champs were getting an auto bid. When he says we were trying to bring the West in, that was saying, look, the Pac-12 in the history of this format has made the playoffs twice. Oregon did it. Washington did it. That's it. Since 2014, twice has the Pac-12 champion made the playoff. So we were trying to bring the West in with the format. Well, now the Pac-12 is going to dissolve. You're not going to give the Pac-12 an auto bid with 4 teams. So you need to reassess how you format the college football playoff. Not saying you need to move off of 12, but you need to reformat how you choose the 12. Here was Greg Sankey.
It just raises the questions that are not fully back to a starting point but about conference champion access, about how the bracket is seeded, particularly the adjustment around Notre Dame remaining as an independent, not having that top 4 seed status. Those matters need to be really dug into and understood. And to the extent we'll have clarity soon on the number of conferences, I think that can help inform our conversations. If we don't have clarity, those issues around format, seeding, placement of teams games will be probably a bit more drawn out. I'm one who thinks 12 teams can continue to work. It's really about what happens inside that 12-team format.
For what I agree, by the way, I actually want to see it go to 16 eventually, and I think we will get there, but they're not going to shrink the playoff because of realignment. They're just going to reassess how they divvy out the 12 bids. It is worth noting Stanford's head football coach said today they're expecting resolution by next week. So Stanford, look, I mean, the season's about to start. They're trying to recruit. How in the world do you recruit a kid when you can't tell them what league you're going to be in, if they have a chance to play for a conference championship, if they're going to have a chance to play for a national championship, or what their travel is going to be like? You have to be able to tell the kid some of those very important details. And right now, Stanford can't. So Stanford, Cal, Washington State, Oregon State can't. So those decisions and those resolutions are going to be coming soon. So in any event, with LSU having the day off today, back on the practice field Thursday, we figured let's take a 10,000-foot view of college football here to start. And we'll get to our Saints Camp Report with Maddy Hudak coming up right after the break. Our Open Every Day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy in Louisiana. Still time. I was popped into Rouse's earlier this week, and I still saw the camo Bud Light bottles. Remember, you see those camo Bud Light aluminum bottles? Remember, a portion of every sale goes to Folds of Honor. Folds of Honor, 13 years, and over those 13 years of Folds of Honor, our friends over at Bud Light and Budweiser have donated $21 million to Folds of Honor. That's funding scholarships for the children of our fallen war heroes. Such a noble cause. We're happy to support it as well. Drink easy in Louisiana with Bud Light. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break, y'all. We'll come back. Hump Day Show is always brought to you by Pluckers. When we come back, Maddy Hudak will be with us. She was out at Saints Camp today. We'll get you Saints Camp Report. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by the Renaissance Hotel and the Watermark Hotel, two amazing hotel properties in Baton Rouge, the Renaissance and the Watermark. The Watermark downtown, the Renaissance there in Southtown. Of course, we tell you every day about Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel. It is one of Baton Rouge's best-kept secrets that, well, the secret's getting out. Chef Jason Hebert, an amazing chef from Baton Rouge, went to Redemptress, who spent time in some of the finest restaurants from New York City up to Maine, down to San Francisco, and points in between. It's a chef-curated menu at Tallulah. It is affordable. It's great for that client lunch, at business lunch, or to have a night on the town. Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel. Let me also remind you about the Watermark downtown. Remember, Best Dress Ball is coming up this Saturday, downtown Baton Rouge. If you're going to be at Best Dress Ball and you want something to do before, pop on into the Watermark. The lobby bar is a great place to have a cocktail, a glass of wine, or if you want to stay downtown, you can stay at the Watermark Hotel in Baton Rouge.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Officially, it's a fridge full of beer. Unofficially, it's free AC. Coors Light, the official beer of everything unofficial.
is a taco more than just a taco when it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to Six Rings Baseball.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Pluckers Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Pluckers Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
2 roster moves. We signed J.P. Holtz, and we waived injured offensive lineman Coda Martin. Back out there today, got some more situational work, 2-minute, down 2 at the end of the game, and I thought we executed good offensively. A little bogus call by Riz on the illegal substitution, but listen, you never know what's going to happen in the game. We've had a few bad calls around here at times, so.
Wonder what he was referring to. Damn you, Nikel Roby-Coleman. Maddy Hudak is with us for our Saints camp report. Hey, Maddy, how are you?
I'm good. Why are we talking about Roby-Coleman?
Well, could you not hear the Dennis Allen soundbite there when you were on hold?
I did. I must have been spacing out.
Well, at the very end, he would just reference like that there have been some bad calls around here over the course of time. So it was a very clear reference to. Anyway, let's just move on from that.
Naturally.
I know. Give me a sense of how the day went. Now that we're 3, 4. What is today? Wednesday. 4 days away from the preseason opener.
I think we're kind of ready for the preseason opener. I think both the media and the players, it's just kind of getting to the point outside where it's genuinely too hot to really analyze anything at this point. Like guys breaking free in coverage, it's just one of those things that I kind of want to see them actually in an indoor setting where they're going to be actually playing their games, as it's just starting to feel like it's a little sloppy out there at this point.
How do practices, when they get to this point, Maddy, how do the practices evolve? Meaning, like, are they changing what they're doing in practice right now?
On a day-to-day basis, do you mean?
Yeah, I guess, like, because as, obviously you're going to sort of crawl before you walk before you run type thing. So what sort of things are they doing now that maybe they weren't doing earlier in camp as they continue to get ready for game action?
I think it's a little more situational drills, which kind of allows you to, again, see kind of the progressions in an offense, which was interesting, again, when, Jameis Winston targeted Taysom Hill 4 times in a row during his situational 2-minute drill. But just seeing them actually pick up the tempo and actually seeing some decent pass rush today, which, again, I'm still on the fence of the chicken or the egg of, is that an issue on the O-line or really good play on the defensive line? But you saw a little more mobility, too, from the quarterbacks today. But it's just kind of been, the same. Some days it's more handoff heavy. Some days it's a little more towards the tight end. But you're starting to see those targets start to come out, including a lot of emphasis on Jimmy Graham for what it's worth. He was probably another one of the primary targets today.
Were there any standouts in the 2-minute portion that caught your eye?
Again, I mean, Taysom did very much so. And Jimmy Graham, just in his ability to make those contested catches in space, the secondary to me looked a little looser than perhaps normal, and I still am just a little worried about the linebackers in coverage, but that did allow a little more from the running back room. I believe it was Kendre Miller or another running back who just blew up Pete Werner on one of the plays, and it kind of shocked us all. And then to just kind of see some good downhill blocking from Ryan Ramczyk, that stood out to me today, because you don't always see that much out of him in training camp, but he kind of blew up Alontae Taylor on a run. And you don't always see him kind of going that far downhill during practice. So good to see, but sometimes when they do those drills outside, the players are standing literally in front of us. So there was only so much I was able to actually write down during some of those drills today.
Maddy Hudak is with us. I also noticed that after practice that the media got to talk to Colin Saunders. Anything, you said they got a good pass rush today. Anything specifically from the two new interior players that they brought in this year, and notably Colin Saunders? Anything you've noticed so far in camp?
I do think the interior as a whole has just gotten a lot stronger. That play that Brian Breezy blew up today with Jameis Winston, he flew right up the middle as well. Trying to kind of think about that. I know that they're playing James Hurst now at that left guard role. They have Trevor Penning at left tackle, and then the normal line of McCoy, Ruiz, and Ramchick. So it was good in a way to see those guys kind of break through. But I think I've been paying a little more attention to that competition going on at defensive end, and it seems like Carl Granderson has kind of pulled away from that as well. He got some good pressure today on top of that, but the unit as a whole, I think, looks a lot stronger than it has in years past. And just seeing the amount of guys that they've rotated into that interior, again, it's one of those things that I think the preseason will illuminate quite a bit, but it's good to see them continuously getting pressure because, it kind of reminds me of Drew Brees where he kind of crumbled with pressure up the middle. It's kind of hard on Derek Carr, too, and so the more that they can get those reps in practice, the better.
It's interesting, Maddy, when the Saints lost Onyemata and Tuttle in free agency, I think we all sort of looked at that position and thought, ooh, what are they going to do there? So they added a couple in free agency. They brought in Brzee. So not to miss the point, like they're rotating plenty of bodies. Like they look. I know you said it's a chicken or the egg type thing right now. So we'll find out when they're not playing each other. But confident in the defensive line as of right now in the interior.
Yeah, confident as of now. I always like when they take guys that are from Kansas City because I think the way that Andy Reid drafts prototypes, just like Tano Passignon, who I thought was a really good, versatile piece for them. I always pay attention to their arm size, their wingspan, and that's something that I know Andy Reid really values as well. So quite frankly, anytime they're bringing over a defensive lineman from that defensive system, I'm kind of inclined to go forward on that. But I think Brian Breezy has just surprised everyone with his speed up the middle. And when you think about guys like Nick Bosa and Aaron Donald, yeah, they have the power moves as well, but they're just so quick off the line of scrimmage that it's almost gone in a flash. So to see that kind of come out of Brian Breezy, I don't really think we've seen that much speed on the interior, especially not out of, Onyemata and Tuttle the last few seasons.
And I want to ask you about something else you mentioned a bit ago in one of your previous answers about Trevor Penning. And I want you to put on your scouting cap, not so much what you've seen, as from a camp report, just from more of a scouting perspective. What about him makes sense at left tackle as opposed to playing a guard spot or on the right side? Why does he fit at left tackle, or does he?
It's hard for me to say exactly. I think that if I'm correct, that's the position that he played in college, but I just think that James Hurst kind of slots in better at that left guard role than Trevor Penning does. So I'm not sure so much of it he's kind of born to play tackle or guard because, they drafted Andres Pete as a left tackle, I believe, and then he's played guard his entire career here. Right. So it's kind of hard for me to say, honestly, when the Saints draft guys, what they kind of intend for them to be. But I think his, aggressive nature has really come on strong. I think he just has a little bit of a bigger build than James Hurst as well. And that left guard role, again, when I'm talking about the issues with Drew Brees, that's kind of an issue with Derek Carr as well, and needing that interior to really be strong. And so I think that's what James Hurst played a lot of that left tackle role in relief of for Penning last year. But at least my kind of offhand analysis is that it just makes more sense to have the line with James Hurst at that guard role and keep developing him at the role that they started him with.
And two more for you. I know DA was also asked today about linebacker depth, and I'm curious your thoughts based on what you've seen out there. Andrew Dowell goes down. We know it's Davis Warner, Zach Bond. Do you feel like they have enough linebacker depth there, or is this I've classified Maddy as a must. It's not a want or a need. Like, they got to go add somebody else. What are your thoughts on linebacker based on what you've seen?
Yeah, no, it's just not sufficient for what it is now, and it just kind of makes you think about how much you were relying on Demario Davis being, an absolute sure thing, because he really has not missed any time at all since he joined the Saints for the last several seasons. And, Pete Werner was always the one that kind of missed more time, and so when they lost Caden Ellis, then you kind of worried about that depth there, and then Andrew Dowell going down, it just kind of seems like they're kind of shoving more Zach Bond in the picture. But just from what we've seen in practice, if I was an opposing team and they had three linebackers out there and one or two were in coverage, that's exactly where I'm kind of picking on. I just think it's a little too much to ask from guys that we really haven't seen play meaningful snaps to suddenly kind of jump into Demario Davis's role and Quan Alexander's role. Even Pete Werner has said that he's kind of missed that void of Demario Davis's leadership, and he's been able to take it over. But that room was interesting because it almost seemed like there was some potential there with Demario Davis out there, and then you lose Demario Davis and you quickly realize just how little they have there. So it's one of those things that if the defensive line can play a lot better than last season, they might be able to absorb it, but it would be something that I'd be looking closely at the waiver wires and really anything they could do before the season starts.
She's on Twitter at Maddy Hudak _94. Y'all give her a follow. Do you know where training camp is going to be next year? Any scuttle yet?
I've heard that it's probably going to be elsewhere, and I know that they're saying it's not weather-based. It's hard to ignore that guys drop like flies like every single day here. And it just, I talk about Tulane at least prepping to play in Yeoman Stadium, and same with the LSU. They play outdoors, but to have an indoor stadium, it just kind of seems like a little needless to kind of be bearing it outside this whole time. So it wouldn't surprise me to see them move next year. Renovations aside, it's just been, it's the hottest August on record here.
I know they're saying there's like a cafeteria being renovated or something like that. So, but it kind of feels like, when it's 100 and the heat index is 115, it's like, you can find a place to eat your meals. There's probably just a better place to go spend 3 weeks during training camp that could be more suitable for all these grown men. But we'll see in due time. Maddy, we appreciate it as always. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
All right. Maddy Hudak on Twitter at Maddy Hudak, MADDYHUDAK _94. If you want to give her a follow, Maddy does great stuff. She also does sidelines for Tulane and is our camp correspondent there with the Saints, contributor on Saints Wire, a lot of different other websites as well. So we appreciate Maddy for doing the heavy lifting for us here during Saints camp. It's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, Michelli.com. Speaking of heavy lifting, how about that? An unintended transition, an unintentional pun. Michelli Weighing and Measurement, of course, our nation's largest distributor of scales. And at Michelli, they are hiring. So if you're thinking about a career instead of a job, even outside of Louisiana, Michelli has different offices and calibration labs in 11 different states, literally from coast to coast, from Florida over to California, Oregon, and points in between. So you can always log on to Michelli.com. You can hit the careers tab. They got a great program as well for our veterans. If you're a military veteran, if you're active duty, or if you're already a civilian, they're a DoD Skill Bridge industry partner, which helps service men and women gain valuable civilian work experience in specific industry training. You can learn more at Michelli.com. That's Michelli.com. For Michelli Weighing and Measurement, again, online at Michelli.com. All right, it's After Further Review. Glad you're here with us here on a Hump Day edition of AFR presented by Pluckers. We'll go around the SEC when we come back. We are going to go to Tallahassee in 30 minutes. We'll check in at the top of hour number 2 on the Florida State Seminoles. Curt Weiler will be here. Taylor Calandro in about 15 minutes. So a ton to do, and glad to have you hanging out with us here. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air. They're always on time, or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. Y'all, we talk about this heat index. We talk about this weather darn near every day. It's really impossible to avoid considering how oppressive the heat has been. But what I want to stress so much is if you have issues with your AC, call River City's 1 Hour Air because they're going to be on time. You'll talk to a real human when you call 752-0001. They'll get you scheduled. So many instances, they'll get you same day. Give them a call at River City's 1 Hour Air. They have expertly trained technicians. When a technician's on the way, you get a call, a text, and an email alerting you. You get a picture of the technician and reviews of that actual technician so you're comfortable with who's coming into your home, and they're always going to do great work at a fair price. Look for the big yellow vans and trucks with a giant clock on the side. It's River City's 1 Hour Air, 752-0001.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,500 off MSRP on all new 23 Ram 1500 Laramie trucks in stock. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Go
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows?
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Pluckers Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Pluckers Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Well, the biggest remaining name out there in the transfer portal for baseball was Braden Montgomery, and I say was because Braden Montgomery has now announced his landing spot. Braden Montgomery announced that he is headed to Texas A&M, interestingly enough. So Montgomery is the biggest prospect in the portal this transfer cycle. He is this year's version of Jacob Berry. He is this year's version of Tommy White. He is the best position player in the portal. He's a two-way guy from Stanford. He's a switch hitter with power from both sides. He plays in the outfield. He also throws 98 from the bump. So last year at Stanford, this past season, he hit 336 with 17 homers and 61 RBI, and he is headed to Texas A&M. I don't know why. I don't know the whole story there. Candidly, it was something I was following closely, and then when fall camp started, baseball transfer portal stuff got just sort of pushed to the side. So I'll try to find out a little bit here as we move along, if I can, on what went into this decision. What I can tell you is it was thought Montgomery is from Mississippi, and it was thought that it was either a Mississippi State or LSU battle here for Braden Montgomery. Some of his best friends, high school teammates, are on Mississippi State's team. The opportunity to play at LSU made a ton of sense. For many obvious reasons. Jay Johnson, you're coming off a national championship. You could most certainly step into one of the outfield spots, considering Dylan Cruz has now vacated one of them. And it really wouldn't matter who was back. I mean, Cruz obviously would have a starting spot if he was back, which he's not. But you bring in a guy like that, he's a day one starter for you. So he will be a day one starter at Texas A&M. But Braden Montgomery is headed to the Aggies. oddly enough, if you don't, I always say in recruiting, if you don't get a recruit, and you can't get them all, but if you don't get a recruit, you want them to go somewhere where you're not going to have to face them, right? We talk about that all the time in football recruiting. If you miss out on a guy from Louisiana, that's okay. Like, you'd rather the Joe McKnight scenario, may he rest in peace, of course, but Joe McKnight didn't pick LSU, but he went to USC. You never saw him. It's out of sight, out of mind. The ones that really sting are when you don't get Landon Collins and then he goes and plays at Alabama and you got to play him every year. That stinks. Hurston Waldrop last year. Yeah, LSU wanted Hurston Waldrop. Everybody wanted Hurston Waldrop. When he transferred from Southern Miss, LSU got to see Waldrop in the regional there in Hattiesburg. He was awesome. He ended up going to Florida. Now, you didn't see him in the regular season, but you saw him in the College World Series. The thing with Montgomery, though, yeah, it stinks that he's going to A&M. This should affect me way more, though, than it is. Schlossnagle had a great year, first season there, getting Texas A&M to the College World Series. They backslid a bit last year. And Montgomery's a great player. There's no question about it. But I also am kind of relieved. Does that make sense? Like, I'd rather him be there in College Station than at Florida. I'd rather him be in College Station than at Tennessee. A team that I might perceive as a real threat. Maybe I'm underselling Texas A&M a bit there. Admittedly, maybe so. But if you look at LSU's outfield next year, Montgomery would have been a day one starter. There's just no denying that at all. He's that kind of talent. But considering you're returning Josh Pearson, you're returning Paxton Kling, there's plenty of other bodies who we didn't get to see play a ton last year that could still vie for that other spot. You obviously brought in a transfer from Arizona who Jay Johnson knows very well, Mac Bingham, who has nearly 700 collegiate at-bats. I mean, it's one of those veteran guys you're bringing in. So maybe that's part of it as well. So in any event, the biggest fish out there remaining in the transfer portal has picked Texas A&M. Braden Montgomery will come to the SEC West, but it'll be there in College Station. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. Hump Day shows are brought to you by our friends at Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. That's WilliamsonEye.com. Driving around the streets of Baton Rouge today, school buses everywhere. It's back to school time. A lot of kiddos had their first day of school today. Remember, parents, get your kiddos their annual eye exam. If you haven't done it yet, this is so important, just to make sure you're on top of any type of eye issues they may have. Don't have them squinting at the chalkboard. Diagnose problems that may exist early. The Williamson Eye Center can help. There's 7 convenient locations across the greater Baton Rouge area, including the newest location in the River Parishes down in Lutcher. It's the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. That's WilliamsonEye.com. Okay, Bourbon Dictionary with Taylor Calandro in 7 minutes. So get your booze questions in. You can email us, tweet us, text us, 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. We'll get to Bourbon Dictionary here, but right now we do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Alabama Crimson Tide.
3-star safety Red Morgan has flipped his commitment from Florida State to the Crimson Tide. We're going to have to get all kinds of Shawshank Redemption drops on that one. I hope he becomes a really good player so we can use the red drops from Shawshank. Are there any good ones that come to mind right off the bat at Shawshank?
Well, I've only seen Shawshank one time.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. So
Ollie, have you seen Shawshank more than once?
I have, but nothing's coming to my head right now.
Okay. I mean, Shawshank's one of those movies that's on TV.
All the time.
All the time.
It's also like 4.5 hours long on
it's
TV.
Not. Oh, on TV? Probably not that long.
We're close. A lot of commercials.
They cut out parts of it. 4.5 hours. That's a bit extreme. I don't think it's that long. Anyway, we got to get some red drops from Shawshank. I'm thinking of lines that Red has said, like, hope is a dangerous thing, Andy. Hope will kill a man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when someone says Red.
Like Red, yeah.
Anyway, Red Morgan has flipped from Florida State to Alabama. 5'11", 175. He's the number 489 overall prospect in the country, the 46th best safety, the 26th best player from the state of Alabama.
Texas A&M!
Aggies announce a promotion of assistant Joe Schaefer to an on-field position on the defense. It'll fill the vacant spot left open by the death of Terry Prince over the summer, if you remember that tragic story. A current assistant, Elijah Robinson, will focus on the defensive line. Schaefer will take over coaching nickels and safeties. Schaefer's been with the Aggies since 2022. Came to Aggieland after coaching Youngstown State's defense for 3 years.
The Auburn Tigers.
And Auburn basketball will play the reigning Big South Conference champion UNC Asheville in the Rocket City Classic on Wednesday, December 13th. That's at the Von Braun Center in Huntsville. It'll be the third time that Auburn plays a neutral site game there in Huntsville. Auburn's coming off a season that saw the Tigers advance to the second round of the NCAA tournament under Bruce Pearl. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy, Trey Beal, and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products, GCOPnet.com. Had lunch today with Trey Beal, as a matter of fact. Always great to see him. Just such an awesome guy, and focuses on the right things in his business as well. Customer service, delivering what you promise, and it's why Gulf Coast Office Products is our state's largest office equipment provider. So if you need anything from copiers and scanners, fax all-in-one machines, the interactive whiteboards you hear me talk about all the time, there's just nobody better than Gulf Coast Office Products. They're a national leader among Savin dealers, but they'll service all makes and models. It's Gulf Coast Office Products, GCOPnet.com, GCOPnet.com. Ooh, I'm sorry, Paul. I got you right on the head. Man. Well, see, the thing is, Ben's sitting there right now. We have Ben shadowing the show. Normally, I throw it at the camera. Can you go to the wide shot there? Normally, I throw it at the camera. Right, well, fisheye, sorry. Normally, I throw it at the camera. No. The one that looks at yeah, that one. Normally, I throw it at the camera, which is right above Ben, but I didn't want to throw it because I wanted him to think I'm throwing it at him. So I decided to throw it at the trash can behind Paul, and I clocked him right. I blame your hair, Paul. I didn't take into account the fact that you have like 6 inches of hair that go straight up off your head.
Yeah, I have a pretty thick head of hair.
You got a Brillo pad. I'm jealous. That is not a statement of judgment or criticism. Who am I to criticize anyone for their lettuce? All right, let's talk to Taylor Calandro, a Bourbon Dictionary. When we come back, you got booze questions? Get them in. Email us. Tweet us at Matt Moscona. Jump in the Bayou Ford YouTube chat or text 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Can we pull the new OJ drop? Let's pull the whole thing. Might as well, right?
Like with him.
Yeah.
Hey, no.
I guess the
all
X.
right.
Hey,
All
X.
right.
Hey, X World. Let's get the new one. All right, from George. It's after further review. Stay here.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. You know where to find them at getgordon.com. Tell you every day, you've been injured in an accident. It's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for more than 30 years. Get Gordon and get it done. But Gordon, of course, loves to have fun as well. You can go to Get Gordon on any of the social media to get all of the information about the newest promotion over at Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Gordon's letting you design his next billboard. I love this. You can't go anywhere without seeing the Gordon billboards, whether he's wrestling an alligator, if he's got Penny in a Barbie car, he's putting his face on a Ken doll, or it's the avocado billboard, or whatever it may be. You want to design it? You can win $2,000 in prizes and, of course, see your billboard right there on the roads of our fair city. Go to getgordon.com, or actually go to getgordonbillboards.com. That's getgordonbillboards.com. Deadline is the end of this month, August 31st. Get your design in there. Getgordonbillboards.com. Get Gordon and get it done.
I'm Chris Nakamoto, and here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. Governor John Bel Edwards issued a strongly worded letter Wednesday to the Pardon Board asking them to consider commuting the death sentences of 56 people at Angola. That request was immediately met with resistance from the State District Attorneys Association, who said the governor's letter is full of inaccurate information. Hear their response. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Pluckers Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Pluckers Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
They're the gang with the slang. This is Bourbon Dictionary with Matt Moscona and Taylor Calandro.
All right, wrapping up hour number one. Let's do it. Get your booze questions in. Taylor Calandro's here to answer all of them. How are you, dude?
I'm well. How are you, Matt?
I'm doing really, really good, especially considering the text that you sent me earlier, and even better if you tell me that you can get me a bottle.
Oh, man, I hope. I sent you a picture of the new Elijah Craig that's supposed to be dropping. Actually, it's supposed to be dropping within the next week or two, and I didn't even realize that when I sent that to you.
Whew. So this is, let's run through it. It's an Elijah Craig toasted barrel, which Elijah Craig toasted is, we'll just walk us through Elijah Craig toasted, and then we'll talk about the special release.
So Elijah Craig toasted is basically small batch. Then they finish it in a toasted barrel, which is basically just a barrel with extra char for a certain amount of time. I'm not sure how long they do it for, but
and it tastes awesome. It's their standard 94.
Fantastic.
It's their standard 94 proof, but they just age it in a toasted barrel, which is awesome.
By the way, did you see the proof on this Elijah Craig? Because I didn't see that.
I'm looking at it right here. It's 94 proof.
Oh, so it is 94 proof.
Yeah.
I was curious about that. I meant to go look before I got on, and I didn't. So it's 94 proof. It's going to be agreeable. But the caveat with this one is, so this is the Ryder Cup edition. The Ryder Cup's every 2 years, USA versus Europe in golf. And the Ryder Cup is in Rome this year. And they finished this toasted barrel in wine barrels from a winery that's in the Rome wine region. And it comes, I think it comes in a cool little package with the Ryder Cup. It's going to be hard to get. It's going to hit both whiskey and golf people. I sent all that, the tweet that I sent you, I sent it to all my golf buddies. I didn't even send them on whiskey people. So, I would expect to see it popping up around Baton Rouge in the next couple weeks. It's going to be very hard to get, I believe, and it's going to retail for about $115, supposed to at least.
Okay, I was going to ask the retail on it, so $115, which for something like that isn't bad. And listen, with the Elijah Craig toasted, the 94 proof, that's usually what, around $90 thereabouts? Is that right?
It's 80-ish, 80, 90. Yeah, I think that's what it's up to now.
Okay, so when you talk about a limited release, you're going to pay a little more of a premium. But I love the spirit to begin with. Now it's got another cool little aging twist on it. So pretty cool. All right, let's see. Let's get some questions here. Oh, by the way, anything else new?
Well, actually, I wanted to come in studio today, but my 2-year-old threw a curveball. He's sick today, so I didn't even offer that.
Okay.
We got a new barrel in. We got a Rebel barrel in, Rebel Yell, formerly known as Rebel Yell. It is 126 proof, and if you're not familiar with Rebel, it's a wheated bourbon.
Nice.
And so that's going to be similar to Weiler and Pappy and those of the like. And it's $60 too. It's 126 proof. It's $60,
Nice.
and it's a weeder. I think it's a pretty good deal. It's a good little bourbon for the price. For sure.
It's a wheated bourbon, 126 proof, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know that I've heard of Rebel Yell. So they've rebranded it just to Rebel?
Yeah. So Rebel Yell was started probably 150 years ago by Stitzel Weller, actually. And they've gone through a bunch of rebranding. They're owned by Luxro now. Luxco.
Okay.
So yeah, they've gone through a bunch of rebranding, and that's their wheated bourbon that they do. And then Ezra Brooks is the rye, the high rye version, or the regular, I should say, of the two bourbons.
Okay.
The Rebel's wheated, the Ezra Brooks is rye.
All right. Let's get to your questions. Email us, tweet us, text us, 225-396-4400, 396-4400. Jeff says, question for Taylor. Picked up a bottle of the Hidden Barn Barrel Pick from Jackie Zycan at the Perkins store today. What should I expect?
Man, we just got that a week ago. That was a New Orleans Bourbon Fest pick, and I'm really not even super familiar with the distillery. It's called Hidden Barn. It's got a cool little bottle. It actually looks like a Scotch bottle to me, but I haven't tried it yet. I'm kind of interested, though. It's a little pricey, but I'm interested.
Okay. Craig says, hey, with Molson buying out Blue Run, do you see this as a beginning of the round of buyouts of the craft distilleries by beer companies?
So if people don't know what he's talking about, yesterday they announced that Blue Run Bourbon got bought by Coors, Molson Coors, the beer company, basically. I mean, they own spirits too, for like $2 billion or something. And I've thought about this for a while, and I'm trying to figure out what beer companies' angles are. And the only thing I can come up with is they're buying these brands to get into the whiskey game or to kill the whiskey game, and I can't figure out which one it is.
Interesting. Well, I mean, that's an expensive price to pay to kill a brand.
Yeah, but $2 billion to Coors, man, that's...
I get it, but you don't stay in business by just haphazardly throwing away $2 billion.
There are big conglomerates that can, especially, and I know in every industry, but alcohol specifically, that literally buy companies for billions of dollars to kill them.
Interesting. Okay.
Yes.
Jason Truax asked Taylor, have you tried Buckner's 13?
Buckner? No, I have not. And I want to say one more thing about that. I'm not saying that is what Coors is doing. That is just something that I know happens. I'm not saying that's what Coors is doing. I'm not saying Blue Run is going away by any means. And I don't think it's that big of a deal because Blue Run is not a gigantic brand to begin with. So, sorry. I just wanted to follow up.
No, for sure. Brett Aguilard said for Taylor, my work is giving away a bottle of Eagle Rare or a bottle of Weiler, I think Special Reserve. He put Special Edition. I think he means Special Reserve. To each employee. Which should I choose?
Eagle Rare all day, every day.
Why would you say that?
Eagle Rare is it's age stated still. It's 10 year. And I just enjoy Eagle Rare more than Weiler Special Reserve. That's just my opinion.
Greg Lehman asked Taylor, what's the first whiskey you'll serve your kid and why?
The first whiskey I would serve my kid, man, I've got a couple bottles with his birth date on it, so it'll be one of those. Like I've got a Blanton's with his birth date on it. I know it's super taters, but it's something with his birth date on it. I've got a few special bottles at my house that I'm saving for him.
Oh, you know what? I got to ask this question because, and maybe you can help. When we were talking with Rodney Beloso, Hot Rod, Cade's dad, about the bottle of Blanton's Gold that that he's had since 1999 that he gifted me that we're going to open up to celebrate the national championship.
Right.
I had some people ask about age stated or dump date bottles of Blanton's and how they can get them like for their child's birth or something like that. Any advice?
I do have advice. So, I mean, the where I see it the most is in Facebook secondary sales groups. And I know there are certain groups in it's technically illegal. So, but there are. I mean, I'm not actively doing it, but there's threads with people looking for certain dates and certain letters, but most of the time it's dates. And I remember a group. I don't know if it's a couple years ago. There was a whole spreadsheet of people looking for dates and people filling those dates, and vice versa.
All right, I got like 10 seconds, so we gotta jump. Appreciate you as always. Thanks, dude.
Hi, man. See you.
That is Taylor Calandro. This is After Further Review. Sports Center's coming up. Then we're heading down to Tallahassee to check in on the Noles. Stay here.
AFR.
Brought to you by South Point Volkswagen and SouthPointVW.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at SouthPointVW.com. Remember, for our audience there on ESPN 1037 in Lafayette, Southwest Volkswagen. So South Point Volkswagen, Baton Rouge, Southwest Volkswagen in Lafayette. Same great ownership group. Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. If you have been thinking about a Volkswagen, or maybe, quite honestly, you're stuck underneath a huge payment for another quote-unquote luxury brand that you're not even sure why you bought it. You want something that looks, has the style, the feel, the performance of luxury, the great German engineering, 9 different IIHS top safety picks, great gas mileage, all the safety features, drives like a luxury vehicle without the cost. You need to do what I've done. You need to get into Volkswagen. Go test drive a VW today. Airline just north of Highland, or shop them online at southpointvw.com. That's southpointvw.com. For South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction?
Officially, it's a fridge full of beer. Unofficially, it's free AC. Coors Light, the official beer of everything unofficial.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Make this summer your backyard party year with Chris's Specialty Foods. Wings, burgers, brisket, steak, and boudin, plus great Cajun side dishes. We do all the prep, and you enjoy laughing with friends and family. Chris's Specialty Foods, Millerville, New Orleans, Prairieville, and Frisco.
Everybody loves Chris's authentic Cajun meat.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. One day after telling reporters some Commanders players had told him they were a little concerned about the intensity of new offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy, Coach Ron Rivera was looking to clear up what he said. In a prepared statement, Rivera said he loves the overall message that Bieniemy has sent to players, boiled it down to they have to learn to be comfortable when they're uncomfortable. Bieniemy has said he's not going to change. ESPN NFL analyst Booger McFarland.
Why should he? Because his track record of success speaks volumes. 5 straight AFC championship games, 2 Super Bowls. He's coached the best quarterback maybe in NFL history in Patrick Mahomes. So I think if you're Eric Bieniemy, you keep doing what you're doing because the Washington Commanders need a culture change.
Booger McFarland on Greeny. Former Raiders receiver Henry Ruggs III sentenced to 3 to 10 years in prison for a November 2021 drunken driving crash that killed a Las Vegas woman and her dog. He could be eligible for parole in 3 years. Lionel Messi's MLS debut's been postponed. Now looks set to happen August 26 when Inter Miami visits the New York Red Bulls.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. They're close, convenient, and have the parts you need fast, along with excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Dennis Allen met with reporters after practice today down in New Orleans. We'll get to that in about 15 minutes. Tigers had the day off. Be back on the practice field tomorrow, and then we'll talk to Mike Denbrock, OC Mike Denbrock, after practice on Thursday. So we're looking forward to that. Let's head down to Tallahassee. Curt Weiler covers the Noles for Osceola, part of the Rivals Network. Good enough to join us for a couple of minutes. Of course, LSU season opening opponent. Hey, Curt, we appreciate a couple of minutes, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. I appreciate you having me on.
Our pleasure. Coach's poll came out yesterday. Noles preseason number 8. Too high, too low? About what you expected? What do you think?
I think it's about what I expected. I've kind of been saying I think they're a preseason top 5, top 10 team. I mean, obviously we're going to learn a whole bunch about this Florida State team in the first month, and we're going to learn if they're kind of worthy of that rating between the LSU game and they play Clemson at Clemson on September 23rd, week 4.
I would assume all the conversations there begin with Jordan Travis. Yeah, I mean, what's a veteran guy, comes back for another year, we all understand. How's he looking so far in fall camp?
I think he's looked good. I mean, he has quite a few weapons all around him that make his job pretty easy, but it's been pretty remarkable. I can't recall too many developments like his kind of as a passer. I mean, he's come a long way from a guy who I think was kind of purely a rusher while he started to where he is now. Is, I mean, a Heisman conversation guy with Jaden Daniels. But yeah, when you've got, I mean, Trey Benson in the backfield with you and a few other guys. We've got Johnny Wilson and Keon Coleman at wide receiver. When you've got a guy like Jaheim Bell at tight end, they make him look good, no doubt, but he looks good as well.
Everyone's talked about their returning production stat, right? Florida State number 1 in the country in returning production from a year ago. Where are they thin? Or where is the question mark or question marks on this team?
Truthfully, the one I would point to, and it's not even that, like, I think they have a few guys you like, but they have some questions beyond kind of the starting few, is at linebacker, where they have a few guys in Kalen Deloach and Tatum Bethune who are back, who've played a lot of football at this level. And they have a third guy in DJ Lundy. They really only played 2, sometimes 3 at a time. They win a lot on the 4-2-5 last year defensively, I think kind of because of their situation there. Behind them, there are some real questions. It's not to say there haven't been some guys who look good this preseason, but there's guys who haven't played as much football, and kind of it'll be interesting to see how the 2 deep get sorted out there. And I mean, if they have an injury or two, things start getting a little a little interesting at linebacker. But that's really my main question, honestly.
You know, the Curt Weiler is with us, covers Florida State for Osceola, part of the Rivals Networks. By the way, do you say Osceola or Osceola? How do people say it there?
The first one, Osceola.
Osceola. Okay. Always wondering. One of the coolest traditions, by the way. I'm not pandering. I love, like, the flaming spear. That's like Renegade, the horse. It's one of the coolest freaking things in the world. Anyway, we know, like, here people are having conversations about guys that are returning that are primed for maybe a step up year. People here are talking about wide receiver Kyron Lacey, for example. Is there a guy that's been there at Florida State, though, that this is an opportunity to say, hey, keep an eye on him because it might be breakthrough, breakout type year?
So I point to a guy. I mean, he started at cornerback last year. He kind of wasn't. I mean, he's not probably a household name, but amongst all the transfers they brought in, I mean, I mentioned a guy like Calandro. I think he'll have a bigger year on kind of a national stage. I think another guy, too, I look at is the cornerback, Renardo Green. They brought in Central Cypress from Virginia, and he's looked good. He was an All-ACC guy last year at Virginia. But Renardo Green's another of those guys who's kind of been around. There aren't a ton of them who've kind of been around since even kind of predating Mike Norvell in Tallahassee. But I think he's a guy who's kind of gradually kind of floated between quarterback and safety and has kind of settled at cornerback last year. I thought had his best season, and I think could carry that over into this season for sure. I mean, it's not the flashiest position, but I think he is a guy, kind of one of the guys who's hung around, and I think could see his reputation nationally increase this year.
Is the energy and sort of the buildup and the hype around this game there palpable? I mean, I know a couple of years ago Florida State opened with Notre Dame down in Orlando, the LSU game last year in New Orleans, but how does this one compare to some of the other maybe marquee season openers the Noles have played?
Oh, I think there's a lot more hype around this one. I'm sure probably for LSU as well as Florida State. I mean, it's last year. I think there were real questions about both Florida State and LSU in terms of, I mean, is this a top 25 team? Neither of them ranked at the time, and obviously by season's end, it was proven that both the teams were pretty good. Now, I mean, are these teams conference contenders, or are these teams more? I mean, they're both, like you said, they're both top 8 in the polls, and so I think it's you don't want to overreact too much to one game. Whoever wins or loses that game, obviously, the loser of that game can still achieve all their goals. It's not ruining their season by any means. But I mean, we all want to see more games like this at kind of the highest level for sure.
Yeah, it is interesting because the one thing that's true about the 14 playoff is there's never been a 2-loss team. So while you're right, whoever loses this game they can still achieve whatever they want to achieve. Their margin for error though really gets to almost nil. So it's significant for a couple teams that have national championship aspirations. I did want to ask you about Darrell Jackson as well, who had a defensive lineman. We talked about the story the other day. He was trying to transfer in from Miami. He'd already transferred once, so he tried to get a waiver, and it was denied. Can you give us an update there? Like, is there any feeling as to whether or not that appeal is going to get approved, or if he's going to have to sit this year?
So they're through the appeal. I think they were already denied. I think over the summer they appealed, and the appeal was what got denied. I think they've kind of gone through all their NCAA options. I mean, it's an unfortunate circumstance. So the NCAA on January 11th voted to kind of be, hey, we're going to be stricter unless you have like a personal medical reason or like I think a safety issue, like something happened to make you feel unsafe where you were. We're not going to approve a second-time transfer, and they're going to have to sit. The problem is Darrell Jackson's already enrolled at that point. Like he transferred and came home to be closer to his mom who has a medical condition before that. So there's some definite frustration because I think he may not have done that even to be closer to his mom if he knew it was going to kind of cost him a year of eligibility because he was going to be, either a starter or a backup. He was absolutely going to be in the 2 deep. And Mike Norvell talked a little yesterday about there's still some options to explore, but kind of he didn't share what those were. And outside of legal action, which I don't anticipate, I don't know what else can be done. It seems like he's going to miss the year.
What does that mean for – you mentioned he would be somewhere in the 2 deep. So where does that leave Florida State on the interior of that defensive line?
It's still a very solid group. It's not I think they still have plenty of options, but it becomes if you lose a guy or two more, then you start to – it's just like you're losing a guy, not even to an injury before the season even starts. But, that's still a group. They got Fabian Lovett to come back, which was a big deal. They added a guy in Western Michigan, defensive tackle transfer, Braden Fisk, who's looked really good early this preseason. He's been quite impactful. Daryl Jackson's high school teammate. Actually, Josh Farmer's on the team at the same position, and he, I think, has looked good and been impressive this offseason. They have a few other guys there as well. So they still feel good, but it is kind of that first steps hit where you're like, you hope this isn't the first of 4 guys they lose, because then they would be in trouble.
Yeah. I remember Fisk from Western Michigan. That's a guy LSU was targeting as well. Tigers really went heavy on the interior defensive line in the portal as well this year. He's a really good player. Wrapping up here with Curt Weiler, a couple more minutes from Osceola, part of the Rivals Network. You can get him on Twitter at Curt M. Weiler. That's Curt with a C. I do want to ask before you go about the whole realignment conversation. Clearly, there's just a lot of uneasiness and frustration surrounding the ACC, the TV deal. Florida State's been very public about their displeasure. Give me your sense here, Curt. You're there every day, boots on the ground, covering this team. What's going to happen? What's a realistic path for Florida State here?
Yeah, I mean, the truth of the matter is, so they have what, I think a little less than a week. I think it's August 15th is when they have to, like, if they were going to let the ACC know, hey, we're leaving next summer. We're leaving for kind of the 2024-25 academic year. And I think it seemed like there was more buzz about that. It's kind of fallen off a bit just because the truth is, I think if Florida State had an easy path out, it would have taken it by now. I think the truth of the matter is the grant of rights has been looked at a lot, and it is going to have to be tested in the court of law if Florida State wants to get out. That's kind of the path at this point. It would be very expensive both. I mean, you have a buyout fee. If you weren't able to get if you lost in court, you wouldn't have your television rights, which would make you significantly less valuable if you're a conference trying to add Florida State. I mean, you can't broadcast their games. That hurts their value. So they would have to have a belief that we could win our rights in a court of law, and it would be about $120 million exit fee. So that's why, I mean, they've talked about the need to get out because, I mean, that revenue gap's only going to grow, but it is by no means as easy as fans would hope, and it is. What's
your best guess as to what happens? I mean, does the ACC just continue under this current rights deal for 13 more years?
I don't think it makes it 13 years, but I think it makes it at least a few more, and maybe as like 2030 creeps up and the number to get out becomes a little more reasonable, it'll be interesting to see what happens. But in the imminent future, as of now, I'm not sure what happens because I think it would be very, very expensive to do it at this point of time, and the ACC is not motivated to work with Florida State. Florida State's kind of trying to, in the interim, think getting a bigger piece of the pie, and I don't think the ACC is exactly motivated to work with Florida State because I think the ACC realizes Florida State will get out the first chance it gets.
Wow. Do you think Florida State will leave the ACC?
At some point.
Wow.
I don't know exactly when, but yes, I think at some point. I mean, I think it feels like we're heading towards a few power conferences, and it does not feel like Florida State is one of them, kind of top to bottom when you look at the roster they've assembled. I think, long term, with the moves the Big 12 is making, I think that looks like a more desirable conference than the ACC right now. And the ACC is looking at Cal and Stanford and SMU, but those don't really move the needle.
Man, the realignment conversation is pretty fascinating because it's shaping the landscape of the game we all love. But in the meantime, we got the actual real football about less than a month away in Florida State and in LSU down in Orlando, and the premier game of kickoff weekend. Curt Weiler, Osceola, part of the Rivals Network. He's on Twitter at Curt M. Weiler. Y'all give him a follow. Hey, man, we appreciate a couple of minutes. Thanks so much.
Not a problem. Thanks for having me.
All right, man. Be well. It is after further review. We'll knock out a quick break. Saints are back on the practice field today. We'll let you hear what Dennis Allen had to say after the workout. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Man, I love telling you about our friends over at Clegg's Nursery with 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. You know where they are. Seagan near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, the Mid-City location on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Every single day I tell you, buy local, shop local. When it comes to Clegg's, it's all about beautifying your outdoor spaces. If you want flowers and plants and trees, maybe it's privacy shrubs, maybe it's fruit trees, whatever it may be, Clegg's has got the best selection of any garden center in our state, and they're local. So all of the plants and flowers, they are grown here, so they're acclimated to South Louisiana. It means they're going to thrive in our climate. And, of course, if you have questions, even if you're a green thumb, chances are you know many of it. But if you're not, you're trying to learn, their horticulturists at Clegg's are just top-notch. Find someone in a blue shirt. They'll help you out. It's at Clegg's Nursery. Remember, Clegg's is partnered with True Value Hardware Store, so everything you find at a True Value Hardware Store, you'll also find at Clegg's Nursery. So you need hammers and nails and duct tape and all that stuff, you can also find it at Clegg's Nursery. So buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery.
Bayou Ford has $8,000 off MSRP, plus 1.9% financing on new 23 Ford F-150 XLT trucks, along with Bayou Ford's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
The importance of doing this fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like Hudco, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance shops, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. And I think we're rocking and rolling.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Pluckers Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Pluckers Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Little breaking news. I like the breaking news sounder. You like the breaking news sounder?
I like the breaking news sounder. That's the effect we need.
I've always thought, should we stick with this breaking news sounder, or should we go to one of the the network's breaking news sounders? You know, from World News Tonight, or something like dun 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 dun.
I don't know. This is good. Why would we mess with a good thing?
Familiarity.
Yeah, I guess that's true too.
I don't know, something like, I honestly can't tell you the last time I watched the news. And honestly, I'm on air when all the network news.
It's true, 5 o'clock and everything.
Yeah, everybody gather around, kids. Let me tell you a little story about what used to happen in the world. So all of the world at 5 o'clock would watch the national news.
Yep.
All of the networks. There was Tom Brokaw, and there was Peter Jennings and Dan Rather, and they would go on their respective platforms on ABC and NBC and CBS and tell the world what was happening. And we all watched all the time. Now I don't even know. Do they still do those shows? Maybe, probably.
I'm sure they do.
I don't know who does them. Anyway,
Yeah,
I'm on air. I mean, I'm not home to see any of that. Whatever. But you would get, when I hear something, you get a little nostalgia.
Yeah.
About the thing you do.
Back when the anchors could just like smoke cigarettes on air in the middle of the newscast.
Ron Burgundy.
Last heaters.
It's a beautiful time.
You read my news.
If it's on the teleprompter, Burgundy will read it.
He will read it.
And when I say anything, I mean anything. Yeah. Okay. Tom Pelissero reporting Kareem Hunt is leaving Indianapolis without a deal. Yeah! Per source. Offer was made by the Colts, but unable to reach an agreement. Pelissero notes continued interest from other teams. So we talked about this yesterday with Kareem Hunt visiting the Saints, and there was wailing and gnashing of teeth when Kareem Hunt left New Orleans without a deal. And as Diana Rossini reported yesterday, before Hunt even started his visit with the Saints, the Colts had already called and offered him more money. So it's a little astonishing, quite honestly, that they don't have a deal. Remember, I don't expect you to know everything about everything going on with the Indianapolis Colts, but Indianapolis has a running back named Jonathan Taylor. A lot of you probably watched him in college. He's a really good running back. Well, he wants more money and he's holding out. He has left Colts camp. Like, he's not even there. He packed up his stuff and he went home. He gone. So they need a running back. And if they're really going to play hardball with Jonathan Taylor, then Indy is a better situation for Kareem Hunt if they're willing to pay him more, and he would have an opportunity to actually play as opposed to coming to New Orleans and being the fourth guy. Now, when Kamara is suspended for the first 3 weeks, Kareem Hunt could be the number 3 behind Jamal Williams and Kendre Miller. And apparently that is still very much on the table. And I was thinking about this yesterday when I was kind of prepping the topic about the Saints possibly adding Kareem Hunt, and then you think and you go, man, you got Alvin Kamara, Jamal Williams, who led the NFL in rushing rushing touchdowns, a year ago, Kendre Miller, who was dynamic at TCU, and you added with a third-round pick, and then if you add Kareem Hunt, who's a former NFL rushing leader, I'm like, man, that's got to be the best running back room in the NFL. So I was like, let me see what people have said about this. Pro Football Focus, how about this? This surprised me. Pro Football Focus has graded or ranked the running back rooms. And again, I always throw this caveat when we talk about Pro Football Focus. Pro Football Focus is not the metric or the standard. It is a metric. It is something to consider. And I do at least respect Pro Football Focus because there is a metric behind it. There is some type of objective data behind their rating or ranking system. It's not just media arbitrarily ranking who they think is the best. And there can be merit to that. I'm not saying that people's opinions are invalid. It's just this has some concrete objective data behind it, whether you want to choose to believe it or not. It's kind of the Moneyball effect. There is at least a reason to argue this that is competent. Anyway, they rank the 49ers as the best running back group unit in the NFL, followed by the Atlanta Falcons. That stunned me a little, but that's a big play on Bijan Robinson, also with Tyler Algier, and then, of course, Cordero Patterson as well. So Niners, Falcons, Cleveland number 3. A big part of that, of course, is just having Nick Chubb there. And then the Tennessee Titans with King Henry number 4, followed by the Colts. Now, this, of course, is before Jonathan Taylor's holdout. They still ain't at the Saints, by the way. Colts 5, Packers 6, Raiders 7. I mean, needless to say, we are probably higher on the Saints. Not probably. We are higher on the Saints running back group than Pro Football Focus is. Because they go Giants 8, Chargers 9, Dallas 10, still not to New Orleans, Ravens, Seahawks, Texans, Jets, and then at 15 is where you find the New Orleans Saints. One spot ahead of Detroit without Jamal Williams, who the Saints just got. So presumably, if you didn't sign Jamal Williams, the Saints would be even lower on this list. Now, if you add Kareem Hunt, Does that change things? Don't know. But Pro Football Focus is saying, look, it's been a couple of years since we've seen Alvin Kamara at his peak. He got a career-low 65 PFF grade, receiving grade this past season. Not at his best. He's a player who's tough to bring down in the open field. Saints added Jamal Williams, coming off a season where he was a force as a short yardage back, leading the NFL with 17 rushing touchdowns. Then they point out Kendre Miller earned an 88.5 PFF rushing grade in college last year. So even with Williams and Miller, Pro Football Focus is telling you, Saints running back room, it ain't what you think it is. Now, part of me sees some merit there. I do look at Alvin Kamara, and I'd say, listen, y'all, the Saints have structured Kamara's deal where it's a very real possibility this could be his last season in New Orleans. I don't think that that's definitive, but the Saints have at least given themselves an option to off-ramp out of this deal after this season, after 2023. So it could be Kamara's last year in New Orleans. Let's say Kendre Miller has a kaboom year. You could get out of the Kamara deal after this year. Jamal Williams, I think it's safe to say you've got him for at least 2 years in New Orleans. But there's a path to off-ramp off the Jamal Williams deal after a year. So in some respects, I would say even the Saints, with the way that they've structured this stuff, are telling you that they're not convinced that their running back room is as great as some of us think it might be. So I like the idea. I'll go back to the point initially. I like the idea of adding Kareem Hunt, a veteran runner who gives you, if nothing else, a really good value-added depth piece. Last year, I've thrown out the stats to y'all before. Last year, the Saints had 8 running backs take a carry. 8 running backs took a carry last year. That's not including Taysom Hill. That's not Rashid Shaheed. That's running backs. That's not Adam Prentice as a fullback. That's running backs. Players designated as an RB who got a carry in an actual NFL game for the Saints. 8 last year. There's too many. You had injuries. You had uncertainty at the position. You had, obviously, Latavius Murray, who you brought in, and then he subsequently was signed by Denver.
Murray, present.
Mark Ingram came in, got injured. His career's over. You were relying on guys like Eno Benjamin and David Johnson late in the season. I get that Kareem Hunt at 28 isn't who he was when he led the NFL in rushing in 2017. But 28-year-old Kareem Hunt as your 4th option or your 3rd option while Kamara's out is better than Dwayne Washington. Fill in the blank of whoever you might take off the scrap heap after roster cuts. So if you have an option still, and the opportunity is still there, as Kareem Hunt left Indy today without a deal, the opportunity is still there to sign Kareem Hunt and bolster running back group, which maybe has more questions than many of us might think, because Pro Football Focus, they rank the Saints running back group. Again, that is an objective, data-driven metric. That's not, here's our opinion on if we like these guys. It's based on their grades. 15th in the league, smack dab in the middle. So, yes, please add Kareem Hunt if possible, especially for the first 3 weeks. All right, it's after further review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. It is a hump day edition of AFR. I love telling you about Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. Mentioned was at a business lunch earlier today. Got to see Brandon Holly, one of my favorites, man. I love the guy. Brandon and Adrian are awesome people. It's one of the reasons that every day when I tell you about Relief Windows, I don't feel like I'm just telling you about windows. I'm telling you about Brandon and Adrian Holly, 2 amazing people who are great friends of mine who built an awesome company that you can trust. As ethical of people as you'd ever want to meet. And when I talk to Brandon, he says it all the time. I've shared this with you before. But Brandon's told me, he's like, as a business owner, you have to be willing to spend your last dollar to make your customer happy. And he lives that every day, and it comes through with everybody that wears that Relief Windows logo on their shirt. Yes, it's windows, doors, siding, but so much more than that. It's experience, quality, and service. That's what you get at Relief Windows. Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. All right, y'all. Been a good day today, man. We are halfway home here on this hump day edition of AFR. One quick programming note, no scone and tea tonight. Actually, we're temporarily postponing our live on-location scone and tea shows, which have been Wednesdays at Oliver Twist for more than a year now. But we'll get back at some point to doing it again. But I'm all about transparency to whatever degree that I can be. We're just going to take a break from doing the show on Wednesdays live on location. Once the season starts, T-Bob and I will start dropping Scone and Tea again. The plan is anyway to start dropping on Mondays. So sort of a recap of the weekend that was in college football. We'll start dropping the episodes again on Mondays. And at some point, we'd like to get back to doing them live on location, but we'll see when that opportunity arises in. I'd love it to be at Oliver Twist, and if not, somewhere else, but we'll let you know as it goes. But no Scone and Tea tonight and for the foreseeable future. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. When we come back, do some overrated, underrated. Muse still has Tigers in the pros ahead. Brian Kelly, after practice yesterday, still have a lot of that to unpack, which we haven't gotten to yet. Ton to do, and glad you're hanging out with us here. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Rouse's, with locations all over the Gulf South. More than 60 Rouse's locations. Hey, I always tell you, get to Rouse's.com and make sure you tap the weekly ad tab there at the top of the website at Rouse's.com. And you can see all the great weekly specials, because at Rouse's, man, there's always some kind of special going on to make sure that you get the best products at the best prices. That's at Rouse's. Go to Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com, or, of course, you can download the Rouse's app. Hey, the grand opening of the new Homa store is coming up next Wednesday, August the 16th, so be sure you check that out. Check it out on their Facebook page as well for all the details there if you're listening down in Homa. And like we talk about all the time with the weekly specials over at Rouse's, how about saving $2.61 a pound on a value pack of Centerloin pork chops? If it's avocados, 3 for 99 cents. How about Red Baron Pizza? Hunt Palmer's sprinting over to Rouse's right now. 2 for $8. It's at Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's. This feels like home.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
At Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, you can lease a new Toyota 4Runner for $489 per month. That's right, you can get a brand new Toyota 4Runner for only $489 per month. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my...
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Pluckers Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Pluckers Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Hey, Muse.
Yo.
You see that the Bucks are going to play a preseason game on Friday?
I did see that the Bucks are going to play a preseason game on Friday.
Let's see. It looks like they're going to play the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Steel Curt.
Did you see what Todd Bowles said they're going to do at quarterback?
I did see what Todd Bowles said they were going to do at quarterback. They're going to start Baker Mayfield.
They are. They play the Jets week 2 of the preseason. See what they're going to do there?
I did see what they were going to do there. They're going to start Kyle Trask.
Yeah. They're going to flip-flop them there for the first 2 weeks. Little Mayfield week 1, little Trask week 2 of the preseason. I'll remind you, we got a little bet with me and Uncle Larry. This bet has been, when did we make this bet? When was this done?
Oh, Lord, I don't remember.
Do you have the audio dated?
I don't, because I clipped it out of the interview, so it's on the date that I clipped the audio from.
Was it before last season or during last
Oh, no,
season?
it was when Trask was coming out of college, so it was before the draft. But I think it was actually
This is 3 years ago?
It was October of 2020. Because it was his last year. And Larry, how it started, Larry had a mock draft, and he had the Saints, I believe he either had the Saints taking Kyle Trask, or he mentioned him as a possibility with the Saints pick.
I think, so that's when all the Kyle Trask with me and Larry started. But is that when we made the wager?
I think it is. I'd have to go back and find the interview again.
So we're coming up on 3 years then, thereabouts, of this conversation with me and Larry about Kyle. It's coming to a head, basically. For those that don't know, Larry Holder, our friend who's been a longtime contributor on the show, was a big fan of Kyle Trask coming out of Florida. I was not, and we made a wager. It ultimately came down to a bottle of whiskey as to whether or not Kyle Trask would be a starter in the NFL by year 3. Well, this is year 3 for Kyle Trask now. And I was very clear when we did this to say, like, this isn't just, he started a game. I mean, Ian Book started a game. It's like, have you become a consistent starter in the NFL? Do you have the audio?
I do.
All right, let me hear it. I want to hear it.
You said ever, so what do you want me to tell you?
Like, would he ever start a game? I mean, who the hell's the kid Rippin from Boise State's going to be starting a game on Thursday night? I mean, I guess pigs could fly, and eventually Trask could start a game somewhere. I mean, we've seen Dan Orlovsky started games in this league. Could he start a game somewhere along the way? Okay, but he's never going to be a consistent starting quarterback in the NFL. I don't see it.
Let's go 3 years if he's not a consistent starter at OU.
So now what we don't have is definition of what is a consistent. So, like, I would argue that the fact that he's not the starting quarterback, like, definitively already, and this is year 3, he's not a consistent starter.
Well, I mean, if you bet it on 3 years and now it's year 3 and this is the only chance he has to really be the starter, is that really consistency?
Did he say by year 3 or after year 3?
He said by year 3.
Let me hear it.
Let's go 3 years if he's not a consistent starter at OU.
That implies by year 3. Or I mean, let's go 3 years. That's
gives him 3 years.
That gives him
so
3
gives
years.
Him this year.
But, I mean, if he starts 8 games this year, is that really consistent starter in 3 years?
That's where I feel like I'm going to have to rely on the audience. And I'm willing to go by a consensus majority here. Okay? How we're going to put, and that's our fault. We didn't add more definition to that. But I feel like, and this happened with my push-up bet at SEC Media Days with Lauren Brooks from 1010XL in Jacksonville. So, Lauren and I, if you forgot this, Lauren and I, the year the Saints signed Jameis, he backed up Breeze for you. Then the next year, so it would have been 2021, Lauren was not a Jameis fan. She insisted that he was not going to be the starter for the Saints. And that if he wasn't the starter by week 8, I owed her 50 push-ups. at media days. If he was, she owed me 50 push-ups. Well, Jameis wasn't the starter for week 8 because he tore his ACL in week 7. And the Saints, of course, were 5-2. And, of course, Jameis was going to be the starter. He was playing very good, competent, sound football and was getting better and better and better. And the team was 5-2. They just beat the Bucs.
Yeah.
So, of course, I'm upset with Lauren. I'm upset with her. Not to the Dwayne from Thibodeau range, because it was how we loosely worded our wager. The Dwayne from Thibodeau thing was hard and fast, and he's a loser, and if I ever see him, I'll punch him in the freaking face. You know what I'm going to do to him if I ever see him? You ever seen the movie with My Cousin Vinny? You ever seen My Cousin Vinny?
Great one.
You know, whenever the guy's like, he's got the money for Joe Pesci, and he's like, hand, he walks out and he just like Superman punches the dude and steals the money out of his hand. That's what I'll do to Dwayne from Thibodeau if I ever see that no good loser. Okay, you owe me $500, chump. I'll punch you in the face and steal it out your wallet if I ever see you. Okay, that's number one. The problem with, I think, the Larry bet and the Lauren Brooks bet is we left these sort of hanging chads, these proverbial hanging chads. So we didn't, with Lauren, clarify, okay, what about an injury? So that's gone unresolved. The same thing with the Larry bet here. So what do we do if Kyle Trask starts 3 games? Or what if Baker starts the season and he starts 0-5 and then they put 0-5 and they put Trask in? Well, is he a consistent starter in the NFL? What if he starts and then he goes 1-4 and they bench him again? Like, you know what I mean?
So I would say he's not, because the only way, what's their goal, right? Their goal is to take in and draft Caleb Williams, Drake May, or something like that. If that happens, Kyle Trask is not going to be their starting quarterback next year. So the consistency ends, right? I mean, I don't know. It's interesting. The fine print got you with Lauren. It might get you again with Larry. We're going to have to wait
I don't
and see.
think it got me with Lauren, though.
It did, because
that's the point.
You didn't include the injury part in the fine print.
But we all know
of course, he would have been the starter, yes.
We all know the nature of the bet, right? We all know in good faith what we were all intending with that, and she lost the bet. Like the point we were each trying to make, I was right. And so I'm curious, maybe we just have to let this entire season play out then. And then at week 17, week 18, when that's done, we can look back and assess and say, okay, well, who won? And it may be very clear. Like maybe Kyle Trask starts 2 games, that's it. I don't know. But the thing that I'll tell you what worries me, Muse. Here's what worries me. They're tanking.
Yes.
Tampa is tanking. They are trying to lose as many games as possible so they can draft Caleb Williams. They are tanking. They won't say it, nor should they say it, but they're tanking. They're going to fire Todd Bowles, and they're going to try to draft Caleb Williams. That is what they are trying to do, okay? Okay. Well, in so doing, playing a quarterback that has 9 career passes may help you get to that end.
That is true.
So in trying to tank, playing Kyle Trask makes a lot of sense. So I'm sitting here going, in the spirit of the rule, even if Kyle Trask starts 9 games this year, is he a consistent starter? No. He's a guy that they're putting in there to lose games in the same way that the Saints were starting Trevor Siemian. He's not a consistent starter. How many games did Siemian start in that season in 2022?
Well,
or 2021?
I tried to forget.
I know.
Let's see. There was I think he started every single one after Jameis's injury, except for the one that Ian Book had to start, right? Or was that 2020 when Book
One of the things that I need to teach him is when I ask you questions like that, look it up. Don't just throw out an answer. I'm really curious. I want to know the answer.
You know.
No,
I think I nailed that, though, actually.
Trevor said, don't worry. I got it, Muse.
I got it right here, too.
I'll look it up. All right. He started with the Saints. He started 4 games. He played in 6. He started 4 in 2021. So, what if that's a Kyle Trask situation?
Yeah, because then they had Taysom Hill go in there as well that year as well, get some starts.
They started 4 different guys that year.
Shout out Ian Book.
No shout outs to Ian Book.
Shout out Ian Book.
No shout outs to Ian Book.
He did his best.
No shout outs to Mickey Loomis and Jeff Ireland and everybody else who drafted Ian Book. No shout outs to you.
He did the best he could.
No shout outs to you at all.
That was a tough situation. That's
he stinks.
Who was the guy for the Broncos who played quarterback against the Saints? Shout out to that guy. That was impossible.
Shout out to that guy.
Shout out to that guy.
See, he wasn't trying to play quarterback. He was a
a wide receiver.
He was a practice squad wide receiver who at one point in college had played quarterback. Yeah. And now he had to go play quarterback in the National Football League against Cam Jordan and Marshawn Lattimore and all them guys. Shout out to that guy. That's like shout out to John Trey Kirkland for playing quarterback in a bowl game that nobody wanted to play in because Garrett Nussmeier wanted to preserve his red shirt. Whatever. That's the NCAA on that one. But still, you get the point. Shout out to John Trey for taking one for the team. Ian Book gets no shout out. You were a draft pick and you stunk. Get out of here.
They had like 30 players available for that. It's not all
Get
Ian
out
Book's
of here.
fault.
Okay. We were supposed to do overrated, underrated there. We didn't do it. So let me knock out a break and we'll do Tigers and the Pros next. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. I got a call today, actually after 3 calls last week from folks that live in the Preserve at Harveston here in Baton Rouge. Last week, awful weather blew through that neighborhood. 3 families, all neighbors around each other. We inspected their roofs. Another neighbor called me today to send someone to inspect their roof. You see this all the time. If in your neighborhood, your neighbor is getting a roof inspection or a new roof, chances are your roof has damage as well. The storm hit your home as well. We'd love to give you a free, no-obligation roofing inspection. Free, no obligation. Hudco is a Louisiana company. We're Louisiana people. We're based right here. Someone will pick up the phone. You'll talk to a human who can help schedule your inspection. We're responsive. Hudco Roofing. Do business with someone you know. Ask about fortified roofing with Hudco Roofing and HudcoRoofing.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I'm Chris Nakamoto, and here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. Governor John Bel Edwards issued a strongly worded letter Wednesday to the Pardon Board asking them to consider commuting the death sentences of 56 people at Angola. That request was immediately met with resistance from the State District Attorneys Association, who said the governor's letter is full of inaccurate information. Hear their response. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
Hello, Samantha, dear, I hope you're feeling fine. And it won't be long until I'm with you all the time. But until then, I spend my money up right down on my last dime. Come on, in Baton Rouge. I'm ready, what you put me on through. Gotta send my love down to
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Pluckers Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Pluckers Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
And that's my point. Because I feel like if we leave it to the audience, they're going to want to stick it to me. What? That's what they're going to do.
Why would the audience?
Because they're going to try to stick it to me.
Why would the audience stick it to you,
because
Matt?
I am a big, loud, bald guy who yells a lot, and every time they get a chance to ram one in my side, they're going to do it. So I don't want to leave, and I know Larry, I know Larry. Larry's going to dig in his heels because I yell at his kid every day for calling me a loser on TikTok or Twitter, whatever. There it is. I know how it's going to go, Muse. He's going to try to hose me on this. And I don't even care about the whiskey. I mean, I love whiskey, but I got a lot of whiskey.
Yeah, you don't need another one.
I got 300 bottles of whiskey in my house.
It's more the principle of the win or the loss.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. It's the record. Which column does it go in?
All right. Muso has Tigers in the pros. There's a lot of people who have no idea what we're talking about. They jumped in during the commercial. Like, what was that?
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
All right, we kind of wondered aloud yesterday how much longer Trey Morgan would be in the rookie league, and the answer to that question was one more game. He went 1 for 4 last night, hit .417 in the rookie league, and is now on his way to single A, the Charleston River Dogs' newest member, Trey Morgan. Speaking, oh, wait a minute, I had to get to this here. Speaking of the rookie
auditory
league,
medium,
and I was speaking.
I'm looking at everybody in the room.
Look.
I was looking at me like,
we need to take a moment.
how about this? Trey Morgan.
Hey, Trey Morgan.
Paul, you can do it too. You're not exempt. Paul goes, he mouths. I did.
We need to take a moment. Offer up a prayer for the lineup of the Twins rookie league team, because tomorrow they face a debuting Paul Skeens.
Oh, what?
Paul Skeens is going to pitch in the rookie league.
Are you kidding me?
That's going to be a very entertaining line to go through on Friday.
Why would they do that?
I don't know.
Oh,
maybe the Pittsburgh Pirates have some bad blood with the Minnesota Twins somewhere. Maybe an interleague game
That's like pitching him against
wrong.
Tulane in the Super and the regional
And that
opener.
happened. And he went CG shutout. Well, not shutout, but 13 Ks. Yeah. So that's going to happen tomorrow. So we'll have that for you on Friday.
Muse?
I don't know.
Why would they throw him?
I don't know, but it's going to be pretty entertaining. I do feel like
in the rookie league.
In the rookie league. Oh no. Yeah, that's going to happen. It's going to happen. So last night in single A ball, Dylan Cruz.
Hey, there's no way.
Goodness.
Real quick. There's no way they extend him, right? That's just got to be get up there and do a glorified bullpen. Give me 30 to 50 pitches, right? That's got to be all that
SEC
is.
tournament action for him like he did against Arkansas.
Yeah.
Get yourself 75, 80 pitches. Work
I
the
don't
lather.
even need that many.
Yeah. I kind of want to see him go 7 and just shove in the rookie league. Like over under how many strikeouts for Paul Skeens in the rookie league.
Depends how long he goes.
It's true. I don't know, man. He went 3 innings against South Carolina and punched out 9. Like, I feel like if you put it at 10, you're good. That's a good parameter. 10.5.
There's no way they'll let him throw that much.
We'll see. Dylan Cruz, last night, 4 for 5, highlighted by a grand slam. And punched out 9. We have 2 things playing.
Right center field.
You're good. Dylan Cruz hit a grand slam to right center field off the scoreboard. Part of a 4 for 5 day, 4 RBI, and 2 runs scored in that one. Bregman last night for the Astros, 2 for 5, couple singles, and a run scored there. And then Matt's favorite player, Hunter Fiducia, went 1 for 5 with a double and a run scored.
Tell you something.
He's hitting .293.
There are few people in the world bigger Hunter Fiducia fans than this guy.
Than that guy right there.
I've been on board since day one.
Favorite LSU memory of Hunter Fiducia? What is it?
There's so many. How do I pick?
How do I pick one? That's Tigers in the pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. That is not a knock on Hunter Fiducia, by the way. Like, the backstory there is like it's weird. Hunter Fiducia exists in a black hole in my brain. Like I don't remember his career. I just don't remember it here, and it's so bizarre. And he caught the whole season. I just don't remember it at all. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Go get him, Hunter Fiducia. All right, hour 3 next.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Traction, TractionSports.com, TractionSports.com. Traction, where champions are made. Ladies and gentlemen, we are headed into fall. A lot of your kiddos have started school, and for a lot of the spring and winter sports, it's their off season. So you want them to get trained to be their best for their season? Traction can help. You know, when I walk into Traction and I see NFL players and NBA players and MLB players and swimmers and track and field athletes and lacrosse athletes, I see top-ranked athletes in the world in their sport training at Traction at a world-class facility with world-class trainers. Your sons and daughters have the same access to that facility with those same trainers all throughout the year. You want to learn more about their membership training? Take advantage of this resource, which so few places in our country have. It's Traction. TractionSports.com, TractionSports.com. Traction, where champions are made.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,500 off MSRP on all new 23 Ram 1500 Laramie trucks in stock. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
It was a humid day, barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time to slip away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me. Like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is SportsCenter. I'm Christine Lisi. Commanders coach Ron Rivera hoping to clarify some of yesterday's comments regarding players' concerns about the intensity of new offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy. Said he loves the overall message Bieniemy's been sending to players. The remarks contrasting the styles of Bieniemy and defensive coordinator Jack Del Rio also addressed by Rivera.
I was just trying to convey that we all have our own way of doing things, and neither one's better than the other. I mean, I had Buddy Ryan writing me for 2 years. I had Mike Ditka writing me for 9, and it's the way they did things. Their approach is completely different from mine. I'm not saying one's better than the other. I'm just saying that we're all different. We all have our ways.
Former Raiders receiver Henry Ruggs III sentenced to 3 to 10 years in prison for a November 2021 drunken driving crash that killed a Las Vegas woman and her dog. Source told ESPN free agent running back Kareem Hunt leaving Indianapolis without a deal. He'll continue to field interest from other teams. He did visit the Saints yesterday. Indy, meantime, will continue to talk to multiple running backs. Lionel Messi's MLS debut postponed. Now it looks like it'll take place August 26 when Inter Miami faces New York Red Bulls.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Musu. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. And oh, by the way, it's hump day. Yeah.
It's hump day.
Let's hump, everybody.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
It's a hump day.
Hump day.
It's an off day for LSU football.
It's hump day.
Tigers resting.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Recovering.
Hump day.
Recharging the batteries.
It's hump day.
Back at it tomorrow morning.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
We'll be there.
Hump day.
After practice, we'll talk to Mike Denbrock.
It's hump day.
Saints were on the practice field today.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Maddy Hudak was here in hour 1.
Hump day.
Get that camp report.
It's hump day.
We had Greg Sankey talking about SEC expansion.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
We had Taylor Calandro talking booze.
Hump day.
We had Curt Weiler talking about the Florida State Seminoles.
It's hump day.
Muse and I talked about how Uncle Larry's going to try to screw me out of our bed about Kyle Trask.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Don't let it happen, Muse.
Hump day.
I'll do my best.
Maybe that could be some part of today's poll question.
It's hump day.
Is Uncle Larry going to weasel his way into a victory?
Will you support Matt?
Oh.
Against Uncle Larry.
It's a good test case, too, to see.
Yeah. I think it's the way to do it. It's the way
It's
to go.
hump day.
Right. Pluckers trivia coming up.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
A couple of big recruiting announcements tomorrow.
Hump day.
Some changes to Alex Box Stadium.
It's hump day.
All right, let's get into it. Here. Actually, let me do that real quick, just real quick. So, we told you a few weeks back that LSU had put out for open bid, for public bid, a project to move the bullpens at Alex Box Stadium off the field. They have amended that now, and I actually did see the artist renderings today. Looks really, really cool. Muse, grab your mic. I showed him to Muse earlier, so if I miss anything, remind me here. LSU, based on the artist renderings and what they are putting out for bid right now, they're taking the bullpens off the field, which has been a point of contention for a long time, right?
Yeah.
Like, we've just seen so many it's a hazard. As players are running, if you're running into foul territory, you're running over a mound, into the wooden benches that are there in the bullpen. So what they're planning to do is not only are they going to put the bullpens under the bleachers, so the home bullpen, as it's proposed, again, there could always be change orders, it could always be changed, but what's been put out for bid, they're moving the home bullpen from the first baseline to under the bleachers in right field, right? So they're going to elevate the bleachers in right field and put the bullpen under it. That'll be the home bullpen. And then in left field, they're going to take the bullpen off the field down the third baseline and put it under the bleachers that are down the third baseline, right? So not the left field bleachers, but down the third baseline bleachers. The other really cool thing, though, is they are adding premium seating down each baseline. So it's going to be sort of chair back, spacious seating with a tabletop. They'll have a phone charger and one of those like cool cup holders.
Yeah.
So I think they have these at Truist in Atlanta. Probably a lot of new parks have them where it's like the cup holder actually is like a cool zone.
It's like a koozie, basically.
Yeah,
kinda.
But it actually keeps your drink cool, not just a koozie, but it's like a cool zone. So 120 premium seats down the first baseline, 40 premium seats down the third baseline. That's an estimate thereabouts. Again, all of this could change as they put a definition around it, but that's really cool. People have talked for a long time about upgrading the box, right? And it's strange because I say a long time. The box is opened in 2009. But in 14 years, it needs updating. As so many other teams around the league have built new facilities, but really getting the bullpens off the field was a must. Your seat is down the third base line.
Yes.
So this will affect you. So your seats will now, those bleachers will now be elevated.
That's
more.
what we're thinking.
And there's netting, by the way. You can tell there's netting all the way down the baseline as well. So what's your thought?
I like it. I mean, I think obviously, like I said, you need to get the bullpens off the field. I think it's cool. And I also said they're not reducing capacity either to do this, which I think is interesting because when you move the bullpens, what I'm interested in is, does it decrease foul territory, though? Do you take up some of foul ground where the bullpens were for some of that premium seating, especially down the right field line where you're not raising those bleachers up because you're moving them underneath the student section, the bullpen underneath the student section?
If anything, it looked like if they were going to lose foul ground, it would be down the third baseline.
Right.
Now, I don't know that. Please do not quote. I do not know that. It's hard to tell based on the rendering. But I wonder if we can show this, Paulie. Hang on. Please don't zoom in on it yet, Paulie. Don't come to it yet. I'm going to see if I can zoom and kind of give.
Because that's the thing. It's not just.
I just don't want anything to be published that shouldn't be published.
Yeah. How the park plays, how it changes how the park plays is interesting, an interesting aspect of it, too.
I think, you know what? I think this is okay to show. Go ahead, Paulie. Go ahead and show this. This is the rendering. So this, as you're looking at it from here, is from the first base line near the end of the first baseline, like toward right field. So if you're watching here on YouTube with us or on WBTR, what you're looking at basically is you're looking at across right field, like toward the third base bleacher. So you can see on the far side, the third base bleachers are higher, right? They're elevated there. And you can see what you're looking at here in the near shot of the image is the premium seating, which looks like maybe 2 or 3 rows.
Yeah.
Maybe 4 chair backs in sort of like a little bay where everyone has its own cup holder and phone charger. So, I mean, it's going to increase the capacity. It's going to add premium seating. It's going to take the bullpens out of foul territory, off the field, which is certainly needed. I love it. I mean, I think it's a fantastic upgrade to the box based on what I see.
Would it add more standing room as well? Because, I mean, if they...
I don't know.
Or are they just removing the bottom? I mean, there's a lot to learn from it, obviously, still. But if they're just removing that bottom section and turning that into premium, but that would decrease capacity. So I'm excited to see. Hopefully, it gets pushed all the way through and they can put it into action because it's a really good upgrade. It'd be a really good upgrade. I do too.
Hat tip to the architects who designed it. I think it's an awesome idea. I mean, this is it.
You're always looking for opportunities for more premium seating option, and if you can do it without decreasing capacity, that's just going to excite people even more.
Yes. And I think, listen, I'll defer to you because you sit on the third base line. I would think you would want your seats elevated more. It's going to give you better sight lines.
Yes, that's the thing. I'm A-okay with that part of it for sure. And especially with when we were talking about it earlier, I'm like, I don't really want to get pelted by foul balls because now they just all go straight over us where we are, but there's going to be a net there. So all good, man. Like I like it a lot.
I know there's a lot of people that are listening and not watching. Cobble just texted and said that his interview with Jay Johnson, Jay talks about this a little bit.
Okay.
So forgive me, I didn't see that, but I just saw this today. So if you want to hear it from Jay Johnson, you can go check out Cobble's interview. It's on WBRZ's YouTube, his interview with Jay Johnson. But maybe I'll try. What I'll try to do is screen grab this rendering and share it on social. I'm better to ask forgiveness and permission. I don't think it's a problem that it's out there. It's out for public bid, right? I mean, it's out for public bid. So anyway, it looks awesome. It looks so cool. So if this is what they decide to go and pull off and this design, it looks magnificent. So hat tip to everyone involved there. It looks like the box is getting some upgrades there. All right, it's after further review. I didn't intend to go there right now. Let me knock out a break. We'll come back. There's still a lot I want to get to. Oh, God, we have so much stuff to get to. Okay, quick break. I do want you to – Brian Kelly talked about several assistant coaches. I want to get to that. Couple of commitments are set to announce tomorrow. I want to get to that. We got Pluckers trivia still ahead. We got Josh Hart making bank. We got so much to still want to get to. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Darren James and Associates, brokered by eXp Realty. If you need to sell your home, if you're thinking about selling your home, maybe you got to get to a closing table, and you got to get to a closing table fast to make the most amount of money. You need Darren James. Do you know that 73%, nearly 3 out of 4 people that list their home for sale by owner end up hiring a realtor? And the reasons could be many. Maybe it's you're just not familiar with all the paperwork that has to be done. Maybe it's you're not sure how to properly price your home. Maybe it's you just don't have time to be home for showings all the time. It's why you need a realtor. And there's none better than Darren James. That's not my opinion, y'all. Darren is on the Wall Street Journal's list of the top 1,000 realtors in America, number 54 in the country this year based on the number of homes sold. If you need to sell your home, call the best. Why would you call anybody else? 335-7666 or agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps are held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good looking.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Pluckers Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Pluckers Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Colin Simmons and Caden Durham set to make their college announcements tomorrow. Decidedly less confidence surrounding purple and gold recruiting backers about Colin Simmons, the number one edge rusher in the country, out of the state of Texas. A week ago, it seemed like things were very good. He was in Baton Rouge for the Bayou Splash recruiting event, and apparently, though, since that time, there's again, full disclosure and candor, because I would never lie to you. I don't know. I am not a recruiting guy. I don't call on recruits or recruits coaches or the LSU recruiting staff to ask. Like, it just, I trust the guys that do it, the men and women, the guys and the gals who do it and do it very well to make their living. So that's why we lean on them very much. So I don't have any insight as to what Colin Simmons is going to do. I'm just reading the same tea leaves a lot of you are. LSU feels like they're in a really good spot for Caden Durham, one of the top running backs in the country. When you look to next year, you could have a lot of those guys back, but you could also lose John Emery and Josh Williams and Noah Kane. You could see a bulk of those veteran backs leaving, and then you'd have a really nice sort of bullpen of young backs coming through this program, which would be really cool to see. And Caden Durham could be a big part of that next year. So we'll have some big recruiting news tomorrow, and we'll look forward to getting that when we can. Hey, it's After Further Review, brought to you by DraftKings, official sports betting partner of ours here on AFR. You want to place a bet on anything? DraftKings has a great offer for new customers right now. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and make a $5 bet on anything. You got to use the promo code Baton Rouge. Again, if you're a new customer, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Do it right now. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge, one word. Make a $5 bet on anything. Major League Baseball tonight, $5 bet. NFL preseason, $5 bet. Soccer, $5 bet. Doesn't matter. $5 bet on anything. Instantly, they will give you $150 in bonus bets just like that at the DraftKings Sportsbook. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. Remember, all customers, new and existing, can have stepped-up same-game parlays. You got to opt in. Slide the opt-in tab at the top. The more legs you add, the more money you can win. It's at the DraftKings Sportsbook. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Football's almost here, y'all. And use the promo code Baton Rouge. 21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Select pairs only. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/baseball terms. Licensed partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. Gambling problem. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-426-2537. Muse, it's early in the poll, but 53% are saying, I'm looking at it right here, they will not back me in the bet against Larry Holder. Because I know a lot of people that are on our Twitter are people that don't like me. That's okay. I get it. But I know that there's people that would look for the opportunity to just jab a toothpick or an ice pick in my side. And that's what that's going to be about.
I still say that vote, though. That's closer than the experts think right there.
No.
53% no? I mean, I thought it'd be...
Because the point is, Muse, this should be overwhelming in favor of
That's
me.
what I'm saying.
Logic should be overwhelming in favor of me. The fact that I'm losing is the problem at all.
Yeah, but I thought it was going to be like 70-30.
Give it time. Plenty of time to get there. All right. It's after further review. LSU had the day off on Wednesday. They're back on the practice field on Thursday. And when they are, a couple of new coaches will be out there, or at least in new positions since fall camp started, which is something we've talked about, but we heard Brian Kelly speak about it now for the first time. Just to refresh the story, defensive line coach Jimmy Lindsey, who himself was a late add to the staff. As you recall, Jamar Cain was LSU's defensive line coach. Right smack dab in the middle of spring ball, he got hired by the Denver Broncos. Gerald Chapman was sort of the interim defensive line coach for the remainder of spring, and then they hired Jimmy Lindsey. And on the eve of training camp, Jimmy Lindsey was taken from LSU's Football Operations Center in an ambulance, and it was announced that he was dealing with a medical condition and that John Jancic would move from the jack linebacker spot inside to coach the defensive line, and Bob Diaco, who was an analyst, would move on to the field to coach the jack linebackers. I asked Brian Kelly when we had a chance to speak with him on Tuesday first for an update on Jimmy Lindsey, and here's what Brian Kelly said again on Tuesday.
We've gotten great reports. Jimmy, I believe, is going to be released from the hospital either today or it's really soon. There's a long road of recovery ahead for him. And then there's other things that he's going to have to handle that are, personal and private for the family that they're going to have to deal with. But very encouraging, just the fact that I'm able to talk about it in terms of, leaving the hospital. Really, really happy for Jimmy, and certainly Lauren, his wife, who's been there by his side every day.
There was no disclosure as to what was the ailment, what medical condition Jimmy Lindsey has or is battling right now. But when you hear Brian Kelly say he's got a long road to recovery, it certainly suggests, and the fact that here a week later, Jimmy Lindsey's still in the hospital. I don't care who you are or what it is. If you're in the hospital for a week under 24-hour-a-day medical supervision and observation, that is sincere. So of the utmost importance, beyond far greater than football and everything, is continued thoughts and prayers and all the good vibes and everything with Jimmy Lindsey and his family as he continues recovery from whatever it is that he's battling right now. And as I continue to say, obviously there's a football component, so I'll take the real life thing, put it on the shelf, understand that exists, and that's what we're focusing most on. But through a football-only lens here, it is interesting because two coaches who the day before fall camp were not planning on doing the thing they're doing now in fall camp and could be doing all season. John Jancic moved from jack linebackers to coaching defensive line, and Bob Diaco moved from an off-field analyst role to on-the-field coaching jack linebackers and special teams. Remember, Diaco was brought in to be a special teams analyst, and now he's on the field coaching special teams along with John Jancic. And I asked Brian Kelly about each of those guys, not only stepping into that role in such short notice, but also what they bring. Let's start with John Jancic.
I recruited John. John played for me. He was a coordinator for me, winning a national championship, coaching the defensive line, coached with me at Central Michigan, Cincinnati. He's coordinated in the SEC. So you have an experienced coach who knows how to build relationships with players. I don't think we miss a beat there at all. Excited about his ability to teach the techniques, and he works really well with Matt too. So, you have not only somebody that has the experience, but, we saw what he did with, really working as an analyst, but working with Harold Perkins last year, I think you would say he did a pretty good job. So I feel really good about that.
John Jancic has been a defensive coordinator at Wayne State back in the early 90s, Hillsdale, Grand Valley State. He coached defensive line at Central Michigan with Brian Kelly in the early 2000s. He was the linebacker coach at Georgia, then became co-DC. He was the defensive coordinator at Cincinnati, defensive coordinator at Tennessee. He coached safeties at South Florida, was a consultant at Kentucky with Matt House, the DC at Colorado State, quality control with Georgia when they won their national championship, the first one, before coming to LSU a year ago. My point is, and I've said this often about John Jancic, I have no worries whatsoever about John Jancic coaching anything on the defensive side of the ball. He has been coaching defense. He played defensive line at Grand Valley State under Brian Kelly. So when Brian Kelly said he recruited John Jancic, he recruited him to be a defensive lineman for him at Grand Valley back in the late 80s. 86 to 90 is when John Jancic played for Brian Kelly at Grand Valley. So the point is, you have a guy that played defensive line, has coached defensive line, and has been a defensive coordinator everywhere. The only moderate concern that I would say, it's not about John Jancic. It's more about the players, especially look at a guy like Mason Smith. When Mason Smith came to LSU, recruited by Ed Ogeron with Andre Carter as his defensive coordinator, or actually as his defensive line coach, went from Andre Carter to Jamar Cain to Gerald Chapman to Jimmy Lindsey to now John Jancic. Mason Smith hasn't even taken a snap of his third football season. This is his fifth defensive line coach. It's 5 different voices with 5 different styles, 5 different techniques, 5 different forms of terminology. You can try to make it as easy as you want, but that's still 5 different defensive line coaches. And he hasn't even taken a snap in year 3. So that would be my one slight hesitation. Like, how does that gap sort of bridge? And then there's Bob Diaco, who similarly we've talked about Diaco and his path. But here was Brian Kelly on Bob Diaco moving onto the field.
Bob Diaco, again, another guy that has been with me at a number of different stops, a great teacher, highly energetic. I know our special teams guys love coming to the meetings. He brings, like I said, a great passion to those teams, which I think we all know the game of special teams. Sometimes you need that. And I know that we're going to be sound fundamentally, and those guys are going to enjoy playing for him.
Bob Diaco is all energy. We've talked about this a little bit here. If you've been along with us during our camp reports, it is impossible to miss Bob Diaco on the field. He is 50 years old. He is sort of he is tall and lean, and man, he is just all energy when he's running around the field. He is an Italian from Jersey, and he gets in there and he's doing the drills with the guys. Like, he just has a voice that booms, and you will know where he is on the field. As Brian Kelly said, yes, that is all he is. Tons of energy. He's working with the Jack linebackers. My sort of bigger concern there isn't Bob Diaco. It's more the Jack linebackers. Ovi Agofu is your unquestioned starter. After that, it's been kind of a struggle identifying who's the guy that's going to step up. Braden Swinson's wearing number 13. That's the Oregon transfer. Aside from those 2 guys, you have a pretty significant question mark at that spot. Bob Diaco's coaching. But I would say the more impactful role that Bob Diaco has had, at least in this relatively short order, is in special teams. We got to watch practice a year ago as well. And I'll tell you that, and it's entirely possible that they're just showing us more this year that they did last year but didn't show us. The attention to detail and the specific special teams drills that they are working on in practice is dramatically different than a year ago. Last year, we watched them field kicks and punts a lot. And they would do things like a punt would be in the air and like a GA would be about 5 yards away and would throw the returner the ball. And so they had to catch a ball while another one's in the air and then catch the ball with one hand. And it was all just trying to improve concentration. And they're still doing some of that kind of stuff with the returners. But what we're seeing now are entire periods dedicated to kick coverage and blocking. And that's the part where I think LSU really went awry a year ago. Jay Bramblett had a very good season punting for LSU. He wasn't a problem. Slade Roy as a long snapper was perfectly fine for LSU a year ago. That wasn't a problem. Even the kicking game, I don't think, that was a a problem for LSU a year ago. The problem was you're lining up for the potential tying PAT against Florida State. You don't block down. Someone comes, or so you allow someone to come inside of you, and you get the PAT blocked. Well, that's not on the kicker. That's on the formation and not teaching technique, proper technique. Those are the types of things that I think are going to help in the return game, in limiting your opponent's return game when you're fundamentally sound in every aspect of special teams. And that's something they they just are. They're just spending more time on that this year than they did a year ago, at least in what we were able to see. So, listen, when you're 127th in the country in special teams efficiency, it's hard to be worse year to year. I mean, there's 133 teams in the FBS. So, I mean, you only got 6 spots between you and the bottom, dog. So, you should be markedly better than you were a year ago. How much better is going to be interesting to see, but I'll point this out about Bob Diaco again. Bob Diaco got his start in coaching in 1996 at Iowa as a GA. He got his first full-time job at Western Illinois in 1999. He was the running backs coach and special teams coordinator. In 2001, he went to Eastern Michigan, where he was the special teams coordinator for 3 years. He went to Western Michigan in 2004, where he was the special teams coordinator. He went to Virginia from 2006 to 2008, where he was the special teams coordinator. You get it? This is a dude that throughout his life has coordinated special teams along with the jobs he's done on the defensive side of the ball. He's been a DC as well. He was Brian Kelly's DC at Cincinnati and at Notre Dame before he became the UConn head coach. He's been a DC at Nebraska, Louisiana Tech, Purdue. He's been a lot of places as a defensive coordinator. But his roots in coaching are also in special teams. And that's going to make LSU markedly better this year. Okay, it's after further review. We got some Pluckers trivia coming up. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. Stick around. We'll knock out a quick break. We'll see if Muso's got any answer. Muso, I haven't even looked at the questions yet today. I'm not.
Just fly blind in it. Don't look at him. Don't look at him yet.
Okay. All right.
Just do it.
Okay. We'll do it. We'll do it when we come back. Pluckers trivia next.
AFR.
Of course, great opportunity to remind you about Pluckers trivia. 2 locations, Nicholson and Bluebonnet. But tonight, according to my guy Stevie Levy, the king of the wing, Pluckers trivia only at Nicholson tonight. No trivia at Bluebonnet tonight. Tonight only. Cancel for tonight only. They'll be back next week. But trivia tonight at Nicholson only. So the campus location. Again, 8 o'clock at Nicholson. Trivia. 5 rounds. Live action. Get on by. Test your knowledge. Win Pluckers gift cards. Remember, Amazon gift cards. Every team gets to spin the prize wheel. So even if you don't win a round, you can still win something. Free food at Pluckers or something. Amazon gift card. It's at Pluckers Trivia every Wednesday. Nicholson Bluebonnet, dine and carry out or delivery with 28 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice-cold draft beer, and full-service bar. Y'all, football season is upon us. Make Pluckers your home for your fantasy football draft and football all season long. It's at Pluckers. Eat wings, drink beer, watch sports on TV at Pluckers if you like our wings. We'll give you the bird.
At Corval Toyota in Opelousas, you can lease a new Toyota Camry for $489 per month. That's right, you can get a brand new Toyota Camry for only $489 per month. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind. When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further. like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Pluckers Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Pluckers Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
All right, we're rolling through a 5 o'clock hour here on a Hump Day edition of AFR, presented by Pluckers. Jimmy will be here for Otter Locks in about 10 minutes from right now. If you missed anything, AFR On Demand is presented by Breck Golf. You can book your tee time at golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org. All right, Muse, we ready?
As ready as we'll be.
Heath Savoy sent a text. Who's the young guy sitting by Paul with the Daisy Dukes? His name is Ben. He said you got a Daisy Duke. That's just a fashionable thing. So Ben is an LSU student who's just shadowing today, interested in sports media. So come on down, bro. So he's watching the show today. Can you slide him your mic? All right, so Ben, do you have any objection to Heath, who is a 52-year-old man, as it says in his profile here in my text app, saying that you're wearing Daisy Dukes?
I don't even know what Daisy Dukes are.
We're going to need to turn his mic on.
It is on.
Yeah, it is not.
I don't even know what Daisy Dukes are. So
you don't know what Daisy Dukes are?
I can't object or anything.
Go home and look up Daisy Duke.
I need you, yes. Don't do it on a work computer.
Yeah, don't do that.
You never heard? Looking at the girls with Daisy Dukes on. No, Daisy Dukes, nothing? Wow.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Dukes of Hazzard? No.
Wow.
You see, and that surprises you.
Yeah.
See, this is what you're going to find interesting, Muse, that I'm learning at this point in my life. I'm not an old guy. I'm only 41. I'm not, to Ben, I'm an old guy. But I'm not an old guy. But you get to, this is starting to happen to me in life where there are parts of culture or life which seem like they weren't that long ago and you should know that are completely lost. Like, I was talking to Ben in the hall. He does not know who Jacob Hester is.
Wow.
Right. He said the first season he remembered watching for LSU was 2011.
Okay, that makes me feel old.
But that's my point. You'll start to get to those moments in life where it's like, oh, like, how do you not know Hester? You know, that's just life, brother. You just keep getting older.
Peter Warwick Jr. is on Florida State.
That doesn't surprise me.
That doesn't do it for you?
Peter Warwick, look, I watched that national championship game back in '99, Florida State against Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
Peter Warwick was awesome in that game. But that was like, that was '99. That was my graduation year. I graduated 2000, so that 99-2000 season was my senior year of high school. And so that's been 23 years. It's completely plausible that Peter Warwick could have had a son that 3-4 years after that in college, in his early 20s, and that kid's in college now. That doesn't surprise me as much. Yeah, that doesn't really do. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, Muse. As Pluckers trivia, we'll lob 3 questions at Muse to see how he does. Just glancing at him.
We have a theme? No theme?
No theme. I think you got a slam dunk, you've got a free throw, and then you've got a full length of the court shot. Okay. Here's your slam dunk.
Oh God! All right.
What word did the University of Hawaii Warriors drop from their name in 2001?
Rainbow.
That is correct. That, my friend, was the slam dunk. Now,
Yeah,
I probably
it is a
should have
slam
said it's not a slam dunk for you because you're tiny and you've never slam dunked anything in your life.
That's true. That's not. No. You can lower the goal.
So if we got you on an 8-foot goal, could you dunk on an 8-foot goal?
No.
You couldn't dunk on an 8-foot goal?
I don't have the hops to do that. That has nothing about height. It really is
Well,
more.
actually, it has everything to do with that.
Well, no, but I
could
mean,
dunk
there's
on
probably
an 8-foot goal just standing like this.
Okay, yeah, but I also don't like. There are probably people who are my height who are more athletic than me who could do it. I don't have the hops to do that though.
People your height that are more athletic could dunk on a 10-foot goal.
There you go.
I think you're under. I don't think you understand how you're lowering it.
There's one way to find out. Let's find an 8-foot goal. See if I can dunk.
And who's got an 8-foot goal? We're bringing Muso over to your house.
I'll do it for the content.
We're videoing it slow mo.
Slow mo.
Get like the was it Chariots of Fire? Dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun, dun. Slow mo with Muse running toward the goal. Would love to see you not be able to dunk on an 8-foot goal.
Well, it would probably be the desired outcome.
Oh, absolutely.
Not the desired outcome. It would probably be the inevitable outcome.
Yes,
is what I meant to say
and
there.
desired.
Yes.
Okay, here's the. Do you want the full length of the court heave, or do you want the free throw?
No, let's go with the free throw here.
Okay, here we go. In what decade did U.S. telephone companies begin using area codes? In what decade did U.S. telephone companies begin using area codes?
I'm going to go with the 70s on that one.
You bricked it.
Really?
You clanked it off the back iron. As our friend Timmy B would say, the iron unkind.
Unkind. Too old or not old enough?
Too recent.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Do you want another stab? You want me to tell you?
I mean,
the,
no, you got
the 1940s.
Oh.
Yeah, the 1940s.
I felt like it probably wasn't. I don't know.
It was 1947 is when they started. I figured you would have thought older. So I figured you would have gone somewhere around World War II.
I went the opposite way. I was like, you'd probably think it was older, but maybe it's not as old as you think.
So you bricked the free throw.
Yep.
All right. Now here's the full court heave. All right, here it comes.
Time winding down.
Who was the Egyptian god of the afterlife?
Egyptian afterlife. I mean, the only thing that comes to my mind is Hades, but that's obviously Greek. That's not Egyptian, and that's a different type of afterlife. So I don't know. I'll go with Hades, even though I know it's wrong.
Osiris would be
Osiris, yes.
Yeah. Anyway, so Muse got the dunk. He clanked the free throw, and then the full court heave didn't even make it to half court. So not a great one for you there, Muse. I again didn't know. You know, sometimes you surprise me though. Like there's the blind. What was the one a couple weeks back? It was the blind squirrel thing. I thought you could make an educated guess.
Blind squirrel finds a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then. A broke clock is right.
Yes,
there,
I understand the expression. I'm asking, what was the question? There was one a few weeks ago where that happened, where I didn't think that you had any shot, and was like, maybe you could take an educated. You could get this, and you nailed one of them.
I don't know. Cobble just texted us again. He had Osiris. He nailed it.
That doesn't surprise me. See, what you don't know about Michael Cobble is that he's a very learned person.
Yeah.
Cobble is a military brat. He's lived all over the world.
That is true.
He went to high school in Germany, and so it's interesting. Last year at SEC Media Days, I went to dinner with Cobble and some of our friends from Sports Talk Mississippi, Richard Cross and Brian Haydad and the gang over there, Houston and the gang. And Cobble's out there ordering escargot and whatnot. I swear,
right,
yeah.
yeah,
He's
okay.
like, oh, it's great. Snails. Look, they're all lovely.
It's not great.
Have you had it?
Escargot? No.
See, then you can't say it's not great.
That's fair.
I'm going to push back on that, Muse.
Okay.
It's one of the problems too many people have, especially with food, is we assume we're not going to like something without ever trying. Taste. You're young. Taste.
I'm going to push back two here
the world.
and say that I actually think I could duck on an 8-foot goal. I'm gonna change my mind, and I think I can do it.
I was the one initially who said you could.
No, I think I can do it.
What changed your mind?
A buddy of mine texted and goes, "You've literally done it before." So I didn't know how high it was. I didn't know.
How tall are you? 5'6"?
5'6", 5'5", 5'6", yeah.
Okay. How long are your arms?
I don't know.
I mean, like, understand.
Yeah.
At 5'6", if you reach your arms up and you got another 18 inches or so.
Now it's been a
almost 2
while.
feet.
I mean, I've gone through college and added some pounds with a little bit of a beer gut and things of that nature.
I mean, you would have to have like a 8 to 12-inch vertical, Muse.
Yeah, that's true. I could do it.
I mean, do you I can jump that high.
Yeah. I could do it. I take it back.
I got bad knees, a bad back, bad feet, everything. I'm bald, I'm fat. I could do that.
We'll have to find something else for me to do that would
that you can't do?
Yeah, because I could do that, I think.
I think you could do that too. All right, but I would still love to see you try and not do it. That would be such good theater. All right, y'all. We're brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. You know where to find them. 18 locations across South Louisiana. I love telling you about Shaw Bills every day. Amazing people, a family-owned and operated company for more than 50 years. There's locations all over the place. You can find the location nearest you at ShawBillsTire.com. You can schedule your service at Shaw Bills. If you need new tires, you need your tires repaired, you need your tires rotated, maybe you got squeaky brakes, you got a check engine light on, something going on with your vehicle, Shaw Bills can help. And if you want to help people fix their vehicles, go to ShawBillsTire.com, hit the careers tab, and you can start your career right now. You can see all the openings that they have at Shaw Bills, where they have not only competitive pay, they have a bonus structure as well. They have an employee tool program. Listen, they're looking for people in Morgan City, Zachary, Youngsville, LaPlace, Houma, Raceland, Baton Rouge, Gonzales, Port Allen, all over the place. Lafayette, it's all there. ShawBillsTire.com. You want a career instead of a job? Our friends at Shaw Bills want to talk to you. ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. Shaw Bills, where we keep you rolling. All right, it's after further review. We'll knock out our final break of the show. We'll come back, do a little Otter Locks. Jimmy will be here, find out what we're betting on tonight. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR. Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Bayou Ford has $8,000 off MSRP, plus 1.9% financing on new 23 Ford F-150 XLT trucks, along with Bayou Ford's 1 million-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Make this summer your backyard party year with Chris's Specialty Foods. Wings, burgers, brisket, steak, and boudin, plus great Cajun side dishes. We do all the prep, and you enjoy laughing with friends and family. Chris's Specialty Foods, Millerville, New Orleans, Prairieville, and Frisco.
Everybody loves Chris's authentic Cajun meat.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Pluckers Wing Bar, open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Pluckers Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Down the stretch, we come final segment here on a Hump Day edition of AFR, presented by Pluckers. One thing left to do. Let's find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
Blue Jays last night. Padres last night. Our parlay last night. We did hit under 7.5 on the Rangers A's, which means we got to make it back. Down the stretch we come. One thing left to do is find out what we're betting on tonight. Oh, no, we already did that. The one and only, the incomparable of an incomprehensible, the Ott father himself, Jimmy Ott. All right, Otter, let's get it back tonight, man. What are we looking at?
At least we had a fun ride. We got that Kansas City Royals in the first half parlay. So, we got a little mileage.
The A's. Coach A!
Hey, that's it. You got to face the music. Let's get to it. I'm back on. Let's go with a parlay first.
Okay.
Atlanta minus 1.5. Gosh, that was a minor miracle. They covered the run line last night, but they did. They were down there last night again. A really good closer at Bednar. But they got the base hit side, and then the two-run knock to win, cover the run line. Excuse me. All right, so we're going with Atlanta minus 1.5. Pittsburgh is throwing down the line pitching tonight, and they used their closer and some key relievers last night. Atlanta minus 1.5 and San Diego on the money line. At DraftKings, it plays plus 158. So,
all right, San Diego on the money line. All right.
The Seattle run is impressive, but we talked about Seattle get the best rotation in baseball, but they don't. They're throwing a guy outside of that rotation tonight. So San Diego with Yu Darvish, who has been good as of late. San Diego should feast on this guy. That's just they're really good, but they're some reason they're pitching out of it. Maybe giving an extra day rest.
It's Emerson Hancock, but
Yes.
Mississippi State. Georgia.
Yes.
That's right. Thank you, Georgia. Yeah, Georgia. Okay. Wrong Bulldogs.
Yeah,
all right, go ahead.
SEC. Bulldog. Rough. All right. Flaherty was outstanding for Baltimore in his Orioles debut. He shut down Toronto. Javier is struggling. Man, that was crazy how they lost a 3-run lead in the ninth inning last night. Baltimore, I think DraftKings is minus 135. It's 125 at Caesars,
Okay.
but I know it's a short price at home. They should hit Javier pretty good tonight. And then I bought Nick Pavetta. He's actually pitching pretty good. Minus 1.5 against the Kansas City Royals. We had the Royals last night. Flip it over to the Don'ts today. Minus the 1.5, though, Matt, because we don't want to lay that big number. Minus 118, minus the run line.
All right, Atlanta on the run line, Padres on the money line. Parlay those. Got Baltimore on the money line and Boston on the run line. Otter, where are you tomorrow?
We are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar.
Very good. Downtown Baton Rouge. Great spot. Have a great show tomorrow, Otter. Thank you. Enjoy the night.
Thanks, Matt.
All right, y'all be great. Muso, Paul, thanks. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, mind you about Mold Zero. Mold-0USA.com. Mold-0USA.com. Have mold? Think you might? Call our friends at Mold Zero. No reason to cut sheetrock. Why do that? No reason to pull things out of your house, rip up carpet. Don't do any of that. Just call Mold Zero. Jim Woodworth and the gang come show you their patented non-toxic dry fog technology. It's easy. It's better, more effective, less invasive, more cost-effective than traditional remediation. They'll come in, they'll spray their fog because it's a fog. It's a dry fog. It'll get into every nook and cranny, killing everything that it touches. So any type of bacteria, if it's mold, other harmful pathogens, the bacteria that causes odor. So you want to remove odor from your home, your office building, apartment complex, gym, locker room, you need Mold Zero. Little or no demo required, minimal disruption to your living and workspaces. It's Mold Zero. Mold-0USA.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,500 off MSRP on all new 23 Ram 1500 Laramie trucks in stock. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
The importance of doing this Fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like Hudco, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance jobs, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the Fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a Fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. I think we're rocking and rolling.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps are held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.